The world's fastest skiff sailors and multi-hull competitors are taking part in the 49erFX and Nacra 17 World Championships. It's the final day of the Worlds in Quiberon, Brittany, on France's rugged Atlantic coastline. Hi, my name is Andy Rice, and joining me as our expert commentator today, Rebecca Netzler, multi-medalist, including Olympic silver at Paris 2024. Rebecca, we've got 3 showdowns today. 3 of the best Olympic classes. How exciting is this?
It's very exciting, and for the ones following the week, we know the racing has been very hard and the points are very, very tight going into these finals.
Yes, this has been a wonderful bay. The Bay of Quiberon has been constantly unpredictable. It's been so hard work mentally and physically for the sailors, but the harder it gets for them, the more entertaining it becomes for us, because nothing is certain on this race course. Day 5 was just such an example. That was yesterday. Let's take a look at the highlights of how things played out on that day. It was a dramatic moment in one of many dramatic moments on day 5 of the 49erFX and Nacra 17 World Championships in Quiberon, France. When the Dutch capsized after just taking over the lead of race 12, the overall lead briefly shifted to a German team, Meggendorf and Spranger, who were lying in the front bunch at the time. But places were changing all the time, and New Zealand 45 charged across to take the winner's gun. Despite all the slings and arrows of outrageous misfortune on a highly unpredictable race course, it's still the other New Zealand team, Seb Menzies and George Lee Rush, who have held on to first place ahead of Australia's Harry Price and Max Paul. But the points are all so close between the leading crews, it's really hard to predict who will win the 2026 world title in the 49er men. As for the 49erFX women, it's the reigning world champions from Spain, Paula Barceló and Maria Cantero, whose scores of 10, 7 and 1 moved them into a commanding lead ahead of former leaders from France, Manon Père and Amélie Rieu, who are now in second, but sharing equal points with the Belgians, who had an increasingly good day, Isora Mainhout and Anouk Gertz. While Spain certainly holds the ace hand in the FX, there's a new finals format in play. Add to that an unpredictable, ever-changing race course, and we're set for a thrilling final day in Quiberon. It was such a fun day yesterday. It was so good to watch. We focused on the 49ers and the 49erFXs. Today we're going to be starting with the 49er men's final. But the one that we didn't follow yesterday was the Nacra 17. We can't get our cameras everywhere, but here's the update for you on the Nacra 17 catamarans that we'll be watching later. And at the top we've got Ugolini and Jubilee from Italy, ahead of Morniac and Retournes from France, with John Gimpson and Anna Burnett from Great Britain, the defending world champions, looking to see if they can get back against Italy and France ahead of them. And then further back, Argentina, 2 Swedish teams, 2 Australian teams and 2 Dutch teams. And it's going to be difficult for people to overturn the lead of the Italians. But Rebecca, what do you think? We've got this different format. We've got that points to leader column there. We're grappling with the new format. We're going to do our best to explain it to you and hopefully get it correct. But the idea of this new format is that it tightens things up compared with a traditional low point scoring series.
Yeah, exactly. And as we can see, we have 5 boats having the same points going into this final, and they're all looking at that 3rd place, trying to bounce back.
And when you say looking at that 3rd place, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think it's mathematically possible to still win, but we all know sailing, it's then really everything have to be playing their way. But more realistic is that someone maybe could come and take that 3rd place from the British. So
the chasing pack will have their eyes on the British more than anybody else. Okay, that's Rebecca's theory, and she knows what she's talking about. A former world champion in the FX, an Olympic silver medalist. And here are the FX standings. And, well, in old in old format, Barcelo and Cantero might well have already won the gold medal here at the World Championships. They are the defending champions, but the way things are, we've got this compression of points, so they've still got to sail a good day today. Just behind them, Per and Riou from France, Mainhout and Götz from Belgium, the pin end specialists yesterday, Bergman and Wheel from Germany, Andersen and Edlund from Norway, another German team, Schiel and Felke, Denmark's Jenna Seaton and Christiana Andersen, Malzaka and Jankowiak from Poland, the Lewin LaFrance sisters from Canada, and Freya Black and Saskia Tidy from Great Britain are our 10 competitors in the FX. And then we just have our 49er men standings, and these are the tightest of all. Look how close the gaps are. It was changing around all over the place yesterday, and especially that final fleet race. And we may well have seen Lambrechts and De Verken, who you see in fourth. We might have seen them vying for the lead going into the day, but for having a problem with the trapeze line and slipping off and having a brief moment of man overboard. But it says Seb Menzies and George Lee Rush, who hold a slender lead. The New Zealanders ahead of Australia's Harry Price and Max Poole, with the Germans Megendorfer and Spranger in third. The Dutch I've just referred to in fourth. Pretner and Flatberger from Austria in fifth. The 2024 World Champions from France, Fischer and Pecan in sixth. Buksak and Gwush from Poland, two Polish teams in the top 10. James Grummett and Ross Hawes in eighth for Great Britain, and Denmark's Rask and Jensen, and then that other Polish team, Stanley and Storch, in 10th. And the points very, very close, which means that no one is going to be able to really get into any match racing or any of that stuff. I think they're probably going to have to sail a straight race. Do you think, Rebecca?
Yeah, I agree. The points are way too tight. So since yesterday, what's been happening is that the points been divided with 2.25. So we see here that the France team is only 7 points away from the gold.
Yeah. So this is going to be just execute the best race you possibly can, sail clean, and maybe in the closing stages, if you are good at doing your maths on the fly, then maybe you start to think about one boat more than the other. Would you have gone out with all the points written on the deck of your FX, Rebecca, in this situation?
No, I think here is the support from the coach really important, and it's a little bit up to each team, and even inside the team it might be different on the helm and the crew who wants to know the points or not, and because all you really can do is sail as good race as possible. And today we will see 2 races with the 49ers, so it's really, I think the first race will set up the excitement for the second last final race.
Well, we got interviews with some of the 49er teams early on. I think we've got an interview with the team that scraped through in 10th place, got that coveted final spot into the final day 10-boat racing. Let's hear from them.
Mikolaj and Kuba entering the final series in 10th place, so that means you've got pretty much nothing to lose. You can't go down any places. Mikolaj, what's going to be your strategy out there, and are you going to go for that bronze position?
Yeah, we go full on today. As you said, we got nothing to lose, so we just do what we do every day, basically, but still go hard today.
And Kuba, are you nervous at all? I mean, it's a world championship. It's the most important event of the year. How are the nerves in the team?
Well, actually, I was nervous after the last race yesterday because I thought we didn't make the finals. So I'm not nervous at all. At the moment, we got nothing to lose, and we'll try to win both races.
So that's the perspective from the Poles in 10th. They can only go up, so they are going to be going on the attack today. What about the top 2 teams? Let's hear from the second place team from Australia.
Max and Harry, you guys are going into the final day of the World Championships in second place. You've got pretty much nothing to lose. I guess your main goal is going to be to win that gold medal. What's going to be your strategy out there today?
Yeah, looking forward to the medal racing today. We're sitting nicely in second spot. So, yeah, we'll head into the day with sort of no real expectations other than just to sail our own boat, sail our own race. And at the end of the day, whoever has a good day today is probably going to come out on top, and we're hoping that it's us.
Yeah, I mean, the points are super tight. Are you feeling nervous at all going into the day? And did you expect to be doing so well coming into this event?
Yeah, I think definitely a bit nervous, but I think we're super proud of how we've sailed this week. We've given ourselves a chance to win on the last day, and yeah, I think it's going to be a really tough day and lots of emotions, I'm sure, whether we win, lose, or draw. So yeah, excited to get out there and get racing.
Seb and George going into the final day of the 49er World Championships in first place. You must be a little bit nervous today, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think anyone here is not a little bit nervous. The points are all super close. We were just talking with some of the other guys about how crazy it is, and it's up to anyone to go out there and win a medal. So yeah, we're just going to go try sail our own race and see what we can do.
And Seb, you guys were Open European champions, so you know what it feels like to win an event, and you won it with a spare day last time. It's going to be tighter today, more difficult. How are you feeling about this?
Yeah, it's a different medal race. Fortunately, in Greece, we didn't have too much pressure on us, but yeah, this one, it's all up in the air, and yeah, like George said, anyone can win it. So yeah, it's going to be a fun day and looking forward to it.
So there's our top two, both from the other side of the world, the Australians in second and New Zealanders in first. Interesting to hear that there's a bit of nerves out there, as there should be. Not sure how long we've got until the start, but it looks like they're pretty close. 1 minute 15. And this is Australia just coming in at the bottom of the picture. There's our lineup. Australia, New Zealand, Australia, Germany, Netherlands, Austria, France, 2 Poles, a Dane and a British team. Just under 1 minute to go, and they are using the electronic Vacaros system, so you don't normally get recalls anyway, general recalls anyway, in a fleet of 10. But Rebecca, I'm hearing that it's changing the nature of the way that people are starting.
Yeah, definitely. I think we should have a look at the time here as well. I think might we have 1 extra minute than what the time on the display is showing right now. The boats are still lining up, and they looks a little bit like they're too relaxed for only having 20 seconds left. But it's definitely a different game. You can't hide anywhere. The Vacaros see you cross that line before any other real eyes can see it.
Yes, yeah. And as you say, it looks like we've got another minute to go. Great Britain at this end of the line. It looks like the pin end is the more favoured at the moment. Rebecca, the line is so short. There's something surely to be said for just going where everybody isn't, right? You might as well go for doing the opposite to everybody else.
Yeah, and I think we can see that quite clearly from the Dutch boat. They really like to do that port tack start. They are already lined up all that way to the pin, sailing in now. Maybe they see a spot that they could get into, but it's all about this start and just getting a first beat and be able to hold your lane.
Great Britain holding out for this committee boat end. The Germans, the only other rivals for this end. Most of the action up at the other end. It looks like Poland and Austria really like the pin end. I think it looks like the Netherlands are coming in for a port tack start. We've got 3, 2, 1, and they're off. And this is a very typical port tack start for Bart Lambriax and Floris van der Werken in a bid to win their 4th world title. They just had that awful moment yesterday. They've got to come back from that when Bart Lambriax fell off the trapeze. Oh dear, someone is over the line. It looks like the Polish are over the line, or maybe had to do a 360 spin. So that has immediately put one of the Polish teams on the back foot. And Poland 64 going extremely slowly, whereas Austria has got the best of the starts at this end, and Australia living in a thin lane. Australia just tacking out now. Sorry, that's New Zealand. New Zealand, Seb Menzies and George Lee Rush, not the best of starts, but they are now out into clear air and onto port tack, and actually looking pretty good already. So not so bad for New Zealand after all.
Then we also see the German boat. We saw them in the start. They were a bit more relaxed, having a bit more space to the others. But we just see how much space is a winning key, and they just could hold the lane straight after the start.
What are you seeing in terms of different angles, in terms of who's going where? Do you think they're a little bit higher on the far side?
Yeah, definitely. On the top of our screen, we can see these three boats is Austria, Germany, and New Zealand. They just looks like they have a bit more pressure and a higher angle than the Dutch boat here.
So the Dutch got exactly the start they wanted, but they are missing out on a big gust on the far side, and there's nothing they can do about this right now, really, is there?
No, I think now they just have to. They probably saw something on that side, otherwise they wouldn't have done such an aggressive move. And I think we can see the top mark there in the middle of our screen. It's a white mark, and it looks very good for that left-hand side.
It looks like they're almost on ley line. I just wonder if there has been a big shift, and it looks like the Austrians wouldn't have too much more sailing to do on starboard tack, so they're all making a beeline across their on port tack. And you look on top right of screen in the far distance, that's the Dutch, and the Dutch are way down to leeward. So just how quickly things changed there. The line was so short, and yet that small amount of separation has translated into hundreds of meters already for those three at the top of the screen: New Zealand, Germany, and Austria. Or maybe it's Poland. No, it is Germany. It's New Zealand, Germany, and Austria, and Netherlands on this side.
Yeah, we can also see a little further down. We can't see them in picture right now, but on the tracking we can see Australia 25 that's hunting that gold medal. They are supposed to be behind the Polish boat there on the left. We see a rib following that one boat on the left. And they're also on that left side, the Australian boat.
So right now this is going very nicely for New Zealand 94, already going into the day in the lead and in the top of the bunch of three here. Looks like the Dutch are coming back on a reasonable shift on starboard. Is it going to be enough? I don't know. I don't know where the ley line is at the moment. I think they're not far off the ley line, the Dutch. But
no, we also see all these three boats tacking out to get it even more off that left, and it must have been a shift going back now a little bit for all these boats to be tacking, which is a very good thing for the Dutch boat.
It is, isn't it? And look at the gaps. Look at how far back the back markers are already. This fleet has really opened up enormously. And the battle here between Austria and New Zealand, because even Germany are falling off the pace. You can see in that shot there, Germany slightly out of the breeze. Germany going for attack because they're on ley line now anyway, and we surely expect attack. Yes, the Kiwis are going to attack on top of, or certainly in front of Austria. But Netherlands not completely out of it. Netherlands coming back reasonably well. Looks like Poland's going to come in just ahead of the Netherlands, so going to give them some bad air in towards the top mark. But Netherlands still in the hunt here.
Yeah, the exciting thing with this, I mean, the Dutch boat is close to the others, but in this racing close is not good enough with how the points are standing. You really need to be in front of the others on a day like today.
Especially this boat here, New Zealand 94, already going in with the yellow jerseys. Austria going round in second. And it's going to be close between Germany and Poland. Germany just getting up to speed. And Germany about to go round in third place, just ahead of Poland, with the Netherlands in fifth. Big gaps. This, at the moment, is all playing into the hands of New Zealand, especially because we haven't yet seen Australia. Australia back in seventh place and a long way back on the race course. The Dutch going for a jibe set. They're going to get that kite set just ahead of Austria coming in from the right-hand side of picture. And the Aussies are going to be close on with Great Britain on the other tack.
Yeah, this was definitely not the start the Australian boat wanted to this race. But as we've seen the other days, they could really bounce back, and it's never over until you cross that finish line. Yeah,
that's the nature of the Bay of Quiberon that we've seen this week. Jibe set by GBR4, Great Britain, Grummet and Hawes. Jibe set by Poland 64, who had to do that turn soon after the start, and despite doing that penalty turn, they're already ahead of Australia. Australia right now having a horrible race back in 8th, but still ahead of France and Denmark, even further behind.
So it will be interesting coming down to the gate now, because we had a split at the mark with the Dutch and the leading group, New Zealand, Austria and Germany doing a straight set. But it is still a long way to go to that gate, and the pressures are all over the course.
Yes, I wonder if the Dutch front of picture actually have better pressure than New Zealand. New Zealand look a bit soft on the far side. Around goes France, and then behind them Denmark. Absolutely enormous gaps here. But look in the far distance, top right picture, that blue Jenica of the New Zealanders. It looks, it doesn't look so bad when you get up close. They're slightly bent-legged, so it doesn't look too bad. I just wondered if the Dutch had a little bit more breeze on their side of the course. But it looks like they are actually going along okay right now.
Yeah, they're definitely nervous, looking over their shoulders, having a good overview of the rest of the race course, and just trying to stay as calm as possible. They're in a great position to be comfortable in the next race as well.
And to see that they finished 22nd in the World Championships last year, just 6 months or so ago. There they are already at the bottom of the course. A quick jibe, a quick drop, and back up onto the beat. And have they chosen the correct side of the leeward gate? Well, actually, they're still fairly comfortably ahead of the Netherlands, but this has certainly been a gain for the Netherlands, because they went round in 5th place. They did an early jibe set, and the Netherlands now vying for 2nd place with Austria as they go round opposite marks. So that's been a really nice gain for Lambriax and Van der Werken down that run.
Yeah, what a downwind they have done. I mean, they were coming down in 5th place at the top mark, but it was also quite some distance to the other boat, so they've been gaining a lot.
Yes, and they're going back out to the side that's just gained them on the previous run. So I wonder if the Dutch have some confidence that they're the only boat going out the right-hand side, and will they be able to get a piece of New Zealand going out to the left? We know how strong the left was on the first beat, but we know also in the Bay of Quiberon you can't trust to history. The Quiberon is always throwing different challenges at you all the way around the racecourse. Poland 64 going around to what will be the right-hand side. Oh no, they're doing a quick double jibe to go round the left-hand side, right ahead of Great Britain 4. So most boats going out to the left, which is understandable because that was massively the paying side on the first beat out at the start. So how are the Dutch doing, having gone out right? It's okay. It's not gained them anything. I think maybe we'll see, because they went round pretty much level pegging with Austria, so they'll find out fairly soon. But well, New Zealand looking really, really comfortable, and Seb Menzies, George Lee Rush, 22nd in the Worlds last year, although they were also Open European champions in Greece, so they have won a major regatta in the 49er. They're so young, and they seem to be the next big hot prospect from that long line of great sailors from New Zealand in the 49er class.
Oh, we come to this cross here, and it actually looked like Austria, picking the left gate, has been gaining back that 2nd place.
Yes. By how much would you say? That's probably about 4 boat lengths, maybe more actually. Maybe 5 or 6 boat lengths gain for Austria.
And they look like they have a great lane now with good pressure coming their way.
New Zealand tacking away, so even though their closest competitor is Austria front of picture, New Zealand are tacking away from the standard thing of covering your closest competitor. They see something on the left that they like, and clearly Austria likes it too, because they're going the same way.
Yeah, before coming into this race, Austria was only 6 points for that gold, but it's how it looks like now. The New Zealand boat is having a good grip of that gold medal. Yeah,
it's going to be very hard to prize that out of their grasp if they manage to hold on to this first place across the finish. New Zealand tacking back again, probably fairly close up on that left-hand ley line, so they're running out of attacking space, the rest of the fleet. And the New Zealanders controlling this race pretty easily right now. They've struggled to get up to weight to handle the power in these 3DI North sails, but this is not strong winds, so even if they are a few kilos off the ideal weight of the 49er, that's not going to be hurting them at all in these conditions. And they're nicely stretched up there. They've got a little bit more breeze. That will come down to the rest of the fleet soon. But right now, New Zealand is just stretching away while Austria and Germany are locked in their personal battle for second and third place. And the Netherlands, who were up to second, that little experiment out to the right-hand side hasn't worked for them. And it looks like the left-hand side is the more solid play on this race course at the moment.
Yeah, here we get a nice overview of how the fleet is looking behind the New Zealand boat, and it's come all a bit closer together, I would say, after that downwind. And
except for these guys.
Except for these guys that is just extending their lead and looking very comfortable. But we also know everything can happen. Yesterday we saw the Dutch boat adjusting the trapeze and just fell out of the boat. So you really need to make everything perfect to be able to cross that finish line at first.
That's very true. That's the nature of skiff racing. Things can go wrong very easily and very quickly. And they still looked, I thought, vulnerable halfway down this run. And we know that Lambriax and Van der Werken found something down the opposite way down this run. So they won't be taking anything for granted. And where are they positioning themselves and why? I always think that people look like they're standing slightly too far back on the 49er, but clearly they're not. They know what they're doing, but they look quite bow up to me.
Yeah, it looks like they really want to have that bow free to be able to move, and as soon as they get a gust, they will just accelerate straight away. Ooh, tight tack there from the Dutch boat, and the Germans are just rolling on top of them, and this is very important points for the rest of the medals.
Yes, it is, isn't it? You say the rest of the medals, it sounds like you think that the gold medal has already gone, Rebecca, but look at that jibe set again, really well executed, a down speed jibe set, and the Netherlands going for the same approach as they did the previous time, and already they look well up to speed and on a fairly nice angle. Poland following them around. What's Australia going to do? Going to go for the jibe set as well. Great Britain going round just behind Australia. And then Poland, France and Denmark somewhere at the back. We haven't seen much of them because we've been mostly focused on the front. Here is New Zealand still leading very comfortably, going into a jibe. Nice smooth jibe straight out onto trapeze. Seb Menzies immediately looking over his shoulder, checking in on progress. I'm sure he'll be encouraged by that.
Yeah, I mean, the distances that this race has been giving us and the lead that New Zealand now was creating for themselves, it's really incredible. And for me, even looking at them, my heart is racing. I'm getting really excited. I'm sure that they are a bit more relaxed right now on the boat than probably we are here, because it's more nervous-wracking to be watching them sailing south.
Yeah, I'm always amazed when you say that. I'm thinking it's got to be... I guess you don't have time to be nervous. You got time to be nervous before the start, but once you're in the heat of battle, you do what you do and the adrenaline is pumping.
We just saw the Dutch boat driving, and it will be an interesting cross with them further down this race course with the Germans. It looks like they're just in front of the Austrian boat, actually, but the cross between the German and the Dutch boat will be very interesting for the total standings.
This all looks very easy, doesn't it? I'm sure all the other 49er teams, when they look back at this, think, I could be doing all of this. There's nothing I see that the Kiwis are doing that we couldn't do. But it's putting all the little bits and pieces together, especially soon after the start. And they made a really good tack on to port to get into clear air very quickly. And it's all going the way of New Zealand. They're just less than 100 metres away from the finish line and already leading the series going into the final day. Winning the first of two races in the finals sets them up really nicely to win the world title. And what a move up the leaderboard that would be after coming 22nd in the worlds last year. But a great finish by Seb Menzies and George Lee Rush crossing the finish line. A very easy, straightforward win for New Zealand over the other 9 boats in this 49er Worlds final.
And it looks like the Dutch have done it again.
Amazing. So the jibe set has worked on both occasions for the Netherlands, and Bart Lambrechts and Floris van der Werken. Really well sailed race. They didn't get the breaks out of the start line. They sailed an excellent race. Unfortunately, up the wrong side of the racetrack. With the benefit of hindsight, they would have chosen something different, but a really well executed race. And they haven't just got second by a little bit. They've got it by a massive margin. So it makes you wonder what they saw that the rest of the fleet missed. And it's still coming in now, the race for third and fourth. It's going to be between Austria and Germany. So going to be a three-way battle. Germany coming in fast with the green Jenica. Oh, it's going to be close. I think maybe Austria might just sneak it, but let's see. It looks like Germany is up on the scoreboard as getting third place. Austria fourth, Poland fifth. Absolutely nothing in it. And another photo finish. Poland 64, just sneaking in ahead of Australia. And these are all critical points. Great Britain 4 coming across in eighth. And Poland 64 did really well to come back from that early penalty that they needed to take off the start line. That's Mikolaj Staniel and Jakub Storch, who started the day in 10th and bottom place. And then the French and the Danes still to come across the line. Really big gaps back to the final two. So New Zealand, here the French coming across, the 2024 world champions. Safe to say that they're not going to be able to win the world title on home waters this time round. Very fast in the stronger breeze, the French. Here are the Danes. Sailed a great day yesterday to haul their way up into the top 10 and give themselves a fighting chance of getting a medal. But that 10th place in the race just now, that's not really going to help them. There's the... We'll get those standings up again in a moment. So, Rebecca, how is it? Oh, there we are. We've got our confirmation. The Kiwis winning that race ahead of the Dutch. Germany taking third in that photo finish ahead of Austria and Poland. And then the other Polish team sneaking sixth ahead of the Aussies in seventh. Great Britain getting eighth place. Fischer and Pecan from France in ninth, and Raskin Jensen from Denmark in 10th. But how is it that the left can pay so much going on the upwind legs, and yet, as the Dutch showed us, going the opposite way down the downwind legs can pay so much?
Yeah,
you would have thought pressure would work upwind and downwind the same way.
Yeah, it must be some pressure and shift related, that it's a bit more left pressure on that left side. But yeah, it's a very interesting move, and we definitely should be, or if I was the other sailors, I would be a little afraid of the Dutch downwinds right now.
Yeah. I mean, when you've seen the left pay so well on the upwind, the obvious thing to do is to do the straight set like most people did. That's the safe move, because you know how well the left has paid, and yet the Dutch, having been given such a poor hand by the right-hand side, still invest in the same side of the course on the way downwind, and it works out really well for them. I feel like the breaks haven't really gone the way of the Dutch. Okay, there was the unforced error of falling off the trapeze yesterday and the brief man overboard. But we saw that incredible start the other day where they come in on starboard very late at the committee boat end. They force the other port tack starters to tack away. They then tack on to port. They get through the gap in front of the Americans, still slow off the line at the committee boat, and they get that amazing start, exactly what they wanted, but they weren't able to convert it into anything. And I feel like the Dutch have been doing a lot of the right things this week, but it hasn't really gone their way. What do you think they're missing?
Yeah, I think the conditions are just been really challenging, and it's been shift and pressure and a bit of everything, and sometimes even a bit of luck. But
yeah.
In general, the Dutch they've been very steady. They have a few big dips, but in general, they've been kind of in the mix the whole time, which kind of gives them enough to be battling for the medals today.
Yes, yeah. What would be the conversation that you would want to be having with your coach right now?
I mean, now it's really everything or nothing. I mean, as the Australian boat, they, if we're calculated right, laying in 4th place, and they just have everything to be working for right now. Just all or nothing.
All or nothing. The pressure's on. And New Zealand, what do they do? Can they afford to be conservative in this final race?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it should be 6 points or 5 points lead for them right now. So I think they can relax a little bit, but we also know it can turn very quickly.
So, what are the scores overall at the moment? Just give us where you are, because we're trying to keep tabs on it. What do you reckon the overall scores are?
Yeah, so I think we have still the New Zealand Seb Menzies and George Lee Rush first position. Then we have Germany 22 been coming up there, stealing that second place, followed by the Dutch Bart Lambra and Floris van der Wecken.
Well, they might well be on equal points for the Australians, but the Dutch, for getting second in that last race, that would put them ahead of Australia, would it? Is that right? It's who beat who in that race.
Yeah.
So if you're on equal points, the Dutch superior finish in that race would put them ahead. Sorry if we're struggling with it. This is a new format. We're doing our best to keep you up to date. But yes, we think that at the moment the Aussies and the Dutch share the bronze medal position, with the Austrians not very far behind, and still France and one of the Polish teams, Buksak and Gwuszt, Poland 19, still very much in the hunt there. I think maybe for the other three, for Great Britain, the other Polish team and the Danes, it's getting really hard to think that they could still get a medal and get on the podium.
Yeah, I think for the next race it will really be the top 5 boats that we will be having a extra eye on to really see how the medals are going to be divided.
Yeah. So breeze looks light at the moment. I don't know if it's got any lighter since that last race, but that looks pretty soft right now. Good thing is these skiffs don't take a lot of power to get them moving, do they? So it should still be okay. That's what I love about skiffs. They're so versatile across the wind range.
Yeah, definitely. And what's been so good this week is that whoever is going to win this championship, it is really going to be the team that's like the best in different conditions, because we've been seeing such a variety of conditions. So this will be a well-deserved gold medal.
Yeah. And, well, if it does go the way of New Zealand 94, Menzies and Lee Rush, what an amazing feather in that cap that would be, and what an incredible gain from 22nd in the Worlds last year to be able to win the Worlds this year. I don't know what they've been doing or what they've been drinking, but it's certainly been working.
Yeah, they've definitely been having a good New Zealand summer, and you can see that they've put an extra gear in.
Seb Menzies is also part of Emirates Team New Zealand, and is going to be one of the co-helmsmen with Nathan Outridge next week in Kellery for the America's Cup Preliminary Regatta in AC40s. And I asked Seb what is the biggest thing that he's learnt from hanging out with Team New Zealand, and he says it's time management. It's really making the best use of limited time, not taking it for granted, and being really focused about what you want to achieve.
Yeah, and I think some other experts in that was just Pete and Blair when they were sailing the 49er. You barely saw them in the boat park. They just arrived, rigged the boat, went out, did their training, and then got back in and home to be able to really maximize the days.
We've got an interview lined up on the water. I think it's with Germany 22. Let's hear what they have to say.
Hey, Andy, we finished the first race of the finals. How did it go for you guys?
Pretty solid race. Good start. We finished third, so still all to play for. I think nothing changed for the next race. We still want to do our best and keep focused.
Pretty sure you're in second position overall, right behind the Kiwis. Or are you going to look out for them or just kind of your own race? What's the strategy?
I think in these conditions you just have to look for yourself and just find the best way over the course, and that's it.
Awesome. Well, good luck for the next one, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you, Alexia. Interviewing Jakob Meggendorfer and Andreas Spranger. And Rebecca, you know the German team pretty well. You live in Kiel. The Germans have been doing very well this week, haven't they? I'm surprised actually to see only one of them in the top 10, but these guys going really well.
Yeah, I mean, and I also know Jacob very well. We've had close conversation. He's been struggling with his back since the Olympics. And the Worlds last year, they couldn't even attend because he was having so much pain. And I'm so happy for them to see how they're back attacking this World Championship.
Yeah, really good to see. It looks like they're having fun out there. They look relaxed. I'm really impressed with the mental attitude of these sailors and how friendly it is in the boat park as well. There's a really good camaraderie amongst the skiff sailors. That's the feeling I get.
Yeah, definitely. And it might not be so much chatter on the boat park, but we all know that the guys love to race each other.
Yeah. I mean, it was quiet in the boat park as they were pushing their boats down the beach today. But a few good lucks to each other, which was really nice to see. And yeah, a lot of mutual respect in this fleet.
It is also coming closer to the last and final race. We're really excited to see what, especially I think, the New Zealand will do in this race and how cool they can stay throughout the day.
Yeah. I think the others are going to really be focusing on what they can get out of this regatta. I doubt anyone's really going to try and take on New Zealand. I think it's going to be more a battle for silver and bronze.
Yeah, right now we see 3 points between silver and bronze. It's really who is going to be first from the others over that finish line.
And that's Germany, Australia, and the Netherlands. But Austria not so far back either. So Kiana Pretner and Jakob Flackberger, they're still very much in the hunt as well, aren't they?
Yeah, it's definitely. And with these points, as we've seen, really anything could happen in this course. Someone, even though it is very light, could still capsize. That would be a nightmare. But I mean, it could still happen.
No, that can't happen, surely.
I mean, we saw it yesterday, but and with a bit of nerves, you never really know.
Yeah, no, I mean, when you're going for those high pressure maneuvers and you're going to clip on your trapeze ring without looking down, most of the time you're going to hit it, but sometimes you miss, and yeah, funny things do happen. And I still don't really understand how Bart Lambriex managed to hoik himself off his own trapeze ring yesterday. Can you imagine how he did that?
No, I was thinking a little bit about it because, I mean, I was getting unhooked a few times, but that was when it was wavy and the wave hit me from below, so I flew out and the trapeze bungee was going inside again. But yesterday was so flat. I mean, maybe he was tightening the bungee just before racing, so he knew where the hook was, but I also made that as soon as he let go a bit of the pressure in the hook, it was gone.
Yeah. So did you ever actually have an overboard like that, where you were going along and then suddenly you unclip for a reason you don't quite explain, you can't quite understand, and then you're overboard?
Yeah, actually it happened quite a few times. I think only on the Worlds in Lanzarote it was happening once. And
Is that the famous one where you had to do the 250 meters of swimming?
Yes, exactly. That was kind of the most damaged one I did, like mentally. It was very tough to come back from that one, and also physically, obviously, I was very tired for the rest of the racing. But it also happened, I think, if it was on the training before or after that, and I really had to start looking in how I was standing, and maybe I was a bit too relaxed on the trapeze.
Yeah, okay. I think we're not. There we are. There's the yellow flag goes up, the 49er yellow flag. What the L2 and then 290 and 045. Just explain those numbers, Rebecca.
Yeah, so L2, that's the race course that we're having right now. We're having it 2 laps, upwind, downwind, and then the top mark is at 290 degrees. 290.
So that's from a northwesterly angle, and 045. That is
the distance
half a kilometre. Just under half a kilometre of distance.
Yeah, and then we see there the yellow flag that says that it's less than 5 minutes to go to the start line. to the start time, and at 4 minutes we will get this blue and white flag as well.
Okay, the blue Peter flag, which hasn't made such an appearance in Olympic sailing over the last number of years because there's always been too many naughty starts that's required a harsher flag like a U flag or a black flag, but because we got these Vaqueros units, the electronic starting, the sailors get a green light if they've started correctly or red light if they're over the line early, which tells them that they have to go back and restart.
Yeah, and it will be interesting to be keeping our eyes extra, of course, of the New Zealand boats in this race, but also with the other medals from the German, the Dutch, the Australian, and the Austrians that I see as having most likely chance to get away with the medal.
Well, if you're enjoying this from wherever you are in the world, and we're getting messages from all over the world, chat with your friends on our YouTube page. Send us in your questions. We'll do our best to answer anything that comes our way. Join our newsletter at 49er.org/subscribe. And if you want to see more live stream racing like we're seeing today, then do think about making a donation via 49er.org/gift. We've got 3 minutes to go, and already the sailors have booked their spot on the line, and the British once again seem to like the committee boat end, and Spranger and Meggendorfer, Germany 22, coming in from the left, also looking like they want a right hand end of the line, and New Zealand are overall leaders at the moment in a really good position to take out this world title. They're sitting a little bit back from the line compared with everybody else at the moment.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting looking at the start now. When it was 3 minutes to go, we saw most of the boats here at the committee boat end, and now actually we see a few more boats down there at the pin. But it was for the other race, it was most of the boats being down at the pin end. I'm also getting notices from the race course. It's actually quite some current out there, and at the top mark, it really is pushing the boats down.
Okay, so you're having to overstand ley lines, give it a little bit extra before your final tack. That's interesting. Some days the current hardly seems to have an effect here, and other days on the strong wind day on day 3 it was having a massive effect, and even in strong winds the current was pushing people over the line, which is really unusual. Must have been particularly strong on that day. We've got 1 minute 44 to go.
The boats are a little bit stretched out, but we still can see a little bit on the left of our screen here. I don't know if it's a little bit of match racing going on, but we have this boats attacking for that medals, Australia, Germany and Austria being very close together.
Austria with 1 minute 20 to go hasn't really got a spot at this end of the line yet. That's up to Germany as to whether it's going to slip down or not, but Germany's not going to want to give up that spot. Germany's really holding out for the committee boat end. Australia's got a nice bit of clear space, third along from this end of the line. And the two Polish up at the far end, the Polish really seem to like the pin end.
Yeah, I think we see the New Zealand boat being in a similar position as they were in the last race as well. It looks like they really like that left-hand side.
The way that Netherlands in the far distance, sort of second row back there, they are Netherlands on the right of picture. They're either going to tack or jibe around shortly. It looks like they're going for another port tack start, which is going to commit them to the right-hand side, just as it did on the previous start. The right-hand side really didn't work out very well for them, but Bart Lambrechts and Floris van der Werken are going for the port tack start, which they love so much.
And we really see the boats being tight here at the committee boat, but the Germans looks like they have still a good position. It looks very tight between the British and the Aussie boat.
I wonder if the Netherlands are going to be able to find a gap between the pin end starters and the committee boat end starters. Looks like New Zealand bearing away behind the whole fleet. They are going for the port tack start. Austria a little bit slow off the line. Really nice start for Great Britain coming off this end of the line.
Oh, we have plenty of OCS.
Oh dear, that's expensive.
And one of them is the New Zealand boat.
Wow. So this is going to throw a cat among the pigeons. New Zealand didn't really need to take too many risks, and now they put themselves on the back foot. But New Zealand already coming off the far end of the line, off the pin end, looking not too bad. So they made the best of having to go back round and restart, but expensive for Poland and for Denmark, who are over. There we are looking at New Zealand 94 in their bid to win their first world title. Great Britain looking really good. They've now tacked on to port, and they must surely be the early leaders of this race after a really well executed start by James Grummett and Ros Hors.
Yeah, what a nightmare start for the New Zealand boat. It looks like they kind of got away with having a good lane now, but it's definitely not the start they wanted to this final race.
No, they're certainly playing catch up now. New Zealand back in 8th and Australia up in 2nd. So Australia still possibly with some sniff of being able to overtake New Zealand for the world title.
I mean, we're 1 minute into this race. We've already seen so much action and a lot of tacking, so it's definitely going to be a race for the memory books.
And it looks like the left-hand side is caving a little bit. It doesn't look so good on the far left. It looks like the boats we're seeing front of picture are profiting at the moment, and Austria 28 going really nicely. Germany just to windward, struggling to hold their lane compared with the Austrians, and things caving slightly for Great Britain as well. It looks like it's getting better and better for Austria at the moment.
Yeah, it almost looks like the wind is turning a bit right, which means that when these boats decide to tack, they will really have a good position crossing the course, going over to the other side to cover up the rest of the fleet.
Great Britain has tacked away. Here's Poland on the far side of the race course, and just to their left you can see Australia, just to their right you can see New Zealand still trying to play catch up after that restart. And the Netherlands, who started on port, have somehow found themselves over quite far over to the left.
Yeah, I think they just didn't want to take any risks in the start, and we saw them straight after the start just tacking straight away and finding that good pressure. The guys could be really confident in the boat speed. We saw that before as well when they were the only one going out to the right, and especially as we've seen on the downwinds.
Here's Austria at the bottom picture, looking fairly good on the right hand side, but there is a darker patch of breeze up near the shore. I wonder if that is going to pay for the left hand side boats again.
Yeah, it looks good there for the Dutch boat, but it almost looks like they have a little bit of less pressure than the Austrians. That was just heading a little bit for them, but it looks really good for this British boat.
Yeah, from that angle, it looks very nice indeed, doesn't it? But I still see darker water in the distance beyond that rib. Poland 64.
Struggling a little bit there to keep the balance of the boat. That just shows us how shifty and patchy the conditions are out there, and it's really not so easy to keep that mast steady and straight.
No, the left here from this angle, suddenly there's a big lifting gust for Poland. That's going to feel more comfortable, but is it going to last any length of time? Great Britain tacking onto port. Good solid sailing by Grummett and Hors right now. And they've had that number 4, they finished 4th in the last 2 worlds, and they said they'd really rather get a different number on their sail this year, but going into today, going in 8th place, they said that they'd be quite happy if they managed to keep number 4 on their sail this time round. Well, maybe this is the race that will help them to do that.
Yeah, it's changing quite quickly what you wish for, but
yeah. I asked Harry Price and Max Paul what they thought about this new format. He said, "Well, we'll tell you at the end of the day if
if we like it or not."
Yes, depends on how we've done in this new format. It's still so tight, isn't it? It's still really close between at least the first 7 in this race right now. Looks like Austria 28, if they can just hold on to that ley line, if they can just squeeze round the mark, then Austria are going to get round in first.
We also see the German boat coming in a very good lane here. We hope that they were able to make the tack and not infringe the other boats. Just coming around tacking.
And pretty well executed by Germany. I don't think Great Britain can have any argument about that. Britain gets around marginally in the lead and goes for the jibe set. And that's the side that Austria has just done well from, but Austria choosing to do the straight set.
And I think it was the first time we saw the Dutch boat doing a straight set, and they're hunting down the German boat.
Australia going around just behind New Zealand, so that has been a great game. Do you remember in the very early stages, Rebecca, Australia was nominally in second place and the Kiwis were back in 8th, so New Zealand now back up to 5th, so that's been a good recovery by New Zealand going along the top of your screen in that shot.
Yeah, and before we saw the Australia boat being a little further up in the rankings, and we will see what they can do on this downwind.
Austria 28 having to be careful because the green Jenica of the Germans is going a little bit lower and deeper than they are. Here at France 16, they had a really good start. I'm surprised to see them back in 9th. So Germany going on the attack, doing a simultaneous jibe with Austria, but Austria already up to speed and looking good at the angle that they're sailing. They look like they've got good pressure on this side right now.
It's a very, very tight race right now between New Zealand and Germany for that gold medal.
And then we have the live rankings on that side. So Germany, we see, has taken the lead as things stand at the moment, just ahead of Austria. And New Zealand back down to 3rd place. That seems amazing that New Zealand could have dropped that far. Now we see New Zealand has gone up to 2nd place on that live leaderboard. It's flicking around all the time. But that green Jenica of the Germans, middle right of your picture, they could well be the leaders as things stand. Austria, Keanu Pretner and Jakob Flackberger also in putting themselves into the mix and sailing really fast right now. There's Great Britain, fully stretched, coming down on starboard. So they found some good breeze as well, but they have missed out. It looks like doing the straight set has been the stronger move this time round.
Yeah, I must say I was a bit surprised by the move there from the German boat, but they must have seen some good pressure on that bottom right side looking downwind. It looked like they were so much closer to the Austrians. And it will be interesting to see where they're ending up here on the gate.
Austria going round the right-hand gate as they look upwind. They're leading, going that way. Great Britain going out the far side. Poland 19 following Austria out to the right. The green Jenica of Germany following Great Britain out to the left. Next around, oh, that's Great Britain sorry. I think it was maybe Poland on the far left. Australia going around the far right. New Zealand coming down with the blue Jenica, not quite making it one, going to have to do a bit of a messy double jibe, but look how the breeze is picking up. The breeze is really picking up a little bit more, and I wonder which side it's going to come in. It looked pretty good for going up the left-hand side again.
Yeah, we saw also that the New Zealand boat was following the Germans out there to the left, and it's definitely a tight battle. I'm getting so concentrated, I'm almost forgetting to say anything.
Well, we might have plenty to talk about in a moment, but it's getting so close on the points between Austria, Australia, Germany, New Zealand, and possibly even the Netherlands. The points are really, really close right now. And that is because New Zealand made a mess of the start, had to go back and restart, and what should have been a straightforward final race has turned into a much more dramatic race. And which way will this race go? Will the world title go down under to Australia or New Zealand, or will it go to one of the European teams?
Oh, tight cross here between Australia and Germany. It looks like Australia have been doing a big gain, taking the other mark. But the Germans still look like they have good pressure coming their way.
And this is one of the Polish teams, front of picture. Poland 19 in 3rd place at the moment.
Yeah, so we could also say that the right list there is point to leader.
So the Aussies and the Austrians are tied on points for the lead right now. New Zealand and the Netherlands just 1 point off, and Germany just 2 points off. So this is a 5-way fight for the gold medal and for the silver and bronze, of course. But there are 5 teams that are looking very much in contention for the gold medal.
I mean, we knew before the race it was going to be tight, but I must say I didn't know they would be this tight.
No, after the New Zealanders have won that first race, we thought it was going to be straightforward for them in this race, but not at all. Not in the Bay of Quiberon this week, which keeps on throwing curveballs at us. And like you said, Rebecca, nothing quite as dramatic as a capsize or anything like that, but being over the line early and going back and restarting, that is the thing that is really put New Zealand on the back foot right now.
Yeah, and we can see there also the must be the Austrian boat and the Dutch boat sailing there neck to neck, coming up to that ley line.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of the Dutch in picture lately, but the Dutch are up there somewhere.
We also saw a quick shot there of the Polish, which actually also looks like they've been gaining a lot, just sailing very fast on the right-hand side, and that they are on ley line, closing in on the others, and it would be a very tight cross between them and the Austrian boat for that first spot at this last stop mark.
Australia, they've used up all their ley line on this side of the race course. There's no more decisions they can make other than making a beeline for that white mark up ahead of them. So these are tense times for Australia, hoping that the wind caves for their competitors on the other side of the race course. We're looking at Poland 19 coming up towards the top of the racetrack. And there are the Austrians. Looks like Poland has got into the lead.
Yeah, we have a new leader in this final race. It's Poland 19. We haven't talked so much about them, but they are been taking over to make this even more exciting.
Yeah, and will they be able to get themselves into the medals? That might be a bit of a stretch for them, but they're doing everything they can. An early jibe for Buksak and Gwush from Poland. Around go the Austrians, and the gaps have rather opened up here in the fleet, so it's hard to imagine. Well, actually, I say that the pack is still very, very condensed, but the front two are off and away.
And we see the same move from the Germans again. They're just crossing ahead, tacking about to make sure that they are not infringing the boats on starboard. And the Dutch go for the jibe set and the Germans go straight, and we will see at the finish line who gets which medal.
And New Zealand quite a long way back in 9th place. They've not had a good windward leg. So this is putting New Zealand's chances of that gold medal in jeopardy. And it might be a matter of what colour medal they can still hold out for, because it looks like the Germans and the Austrians are now in the box seat for taking the gold medal. But if New Zealand can make up maybe just 1 place on this downwind leg, that might be enough. But then again, the tie break would still break between Austria. If Austria stays ahead of New Zealand on equal points, Austria would still get the gold medal ahead of New Zealand. Poland 19, jibe onto starboard.
And we will get a very exciting cross here again and see which side was gaining the most. It looks like Poland just get a bit more pressure there. We can see them both being out on the wing, while the Austrian boat is working a little bit further in with the crew, and it looks like an easy cross for Poland.
Okay, so Poland sailing really well, but so many lead changes in this race. Maybe we'll still see some more. Good breeze in the middle of the course right now. These two boats seem to have slightly better breeze than the boats further upwind.
We would really like to see the Dutch boat on the screen as well, to see what's been happening to them on this downwind. As we know, they've been secretly coming from the other side than the others earlier in the races.
Another crossing of swords. Poland still ahead, but Austria, small gain back to them maybe. Looks like good angle on starboard. Poland jibing to defend. It better be a good jibe, because Austria is closing fast. The jury just keeping a close eye, and it's not far to the finish now. Poland 19. They're going to win the last race of these World Championships. Dominik Buksak and Matthias Gusch win the race. And every position matters here. Austria cross in second. Keanu Pretner and Jakob Flackberger. But we are not going to know who's won what until we see the rest of this fleet cross the line. So let's go back up the course. What's going on up the rest of the course? We know those boats are finished. Here's the run across the line between Poland and the Netherlands. And that's really close. Can't call it from here. Looks like maybe the Netherlands, I don't know, very close. It's going to be so critical as to who got who. But according to our finish positions there, Poland got third ahead of the Netherlands in fourth. And New Zealand, is that really New Zealand up to fifth? That's an incredible game. They were ninth going round the top mark. And that is incredible. I don't know if that is enough to have secured gold for New Zealand, but what a comeback down that final run. They have pulled some kind of rabbit out of a hat. I don't know where they got that from. Great Britain going across the line. Denmark about to go across the line. And we're going to have to, I'm afraid you're going to have to be patient with us while we get the rest of the finishers across the line. Australia crossing just ahead of France. So Australia was pretty sure well ahead of New Zealand. They were well ahead of New Zealand at the windward mark. And Germany, Megendorf and Spranger, they were having such a good race. I don't know what happened to Germany, but that is an awful finish to the race for Germany. So there we are. They reckon they've won the gold medal. So congratulations to New Zealand. We thought they had given it away by having to go back and restart. But what an amazing finish. What an amazing final run downwind for Seb Menzies and George Lee Rush. So young, barely in their 20s. And they win a senior 49er world title. Incredible performance by these young Kiwis.
Yeah, what a keeping the nerves together all the way in the end. I mean, that was a very, very exciting race. It was even more exciting than what we could have hoped for. It wasn't over until the end. And the big question is also, what happened to the Germans?
What happened to the Germans? And something turned inside out on that final run, because the Germans just disappeared off the map. And these guys came shooting through. And the shot I saw of them coming upwind in ninth, they were so far back. And the gaps were getting quite big at that point, and somehow they managed to find something down the final run. Quite amazing. So we've got our gold medalists. Let's see if we can work out who are our silver and bronze medal winners, because all the points were changing all over the place.
Yeah, so if my calculations are right, which I hope that they are, we have the Austrians in second and the Dutch in third, but that's not official, that's just my own.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Rebecca. So Austria had a really good last phase of that race, and there are the finish positions. The Austrians in second, we believe that's enough to give them the silver medal, and Lambrechts and Van der Werken, they're almost invisible to us in that race. They always seem to be somewhere else, but really solid racing by them. And the bronze medal, they've got something out of this. It's not quite their fourth world title, but the Dutch have sailed really well. No one has sailed as well as these Kiwis. Let's throw to the water now, and I think Alexia has the young New Zealanders ready to chat with us.
7 George 2026 world champions in the 49er at such a young age. It must feel amazing. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I don't have words, that's for sure. It's amazing. I couldn't ask for anything more from this week, and yeah, it was a stressful race, but we managed to make it back in the end, and yeah,
I don't know.
You went from winning the first race to getting an OCS early start in the second race. I'm sure your heart rate was really high in the second race and nervous.
Yeah, for sure. We did not make things easy for ourselves. Yeah, straight out the back door for most of the race and just trying to work out what was happening in front of us with everyone else. And yeah, the points were just so tight between a bunch of boats. So we could have gone all the way to fourth, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, managed to get back just on the last downwind and it was enough to do it. So yeah, we're super stoked.
Anything you want to say to the family, friends watching? You guys have a huge team supporting you. Anything to say?
Yeah, thanks to all the friends and families watching, and then also want to give a big shout out to all the other Kiwi guys that we train with and Yacht New Zealand and everyone helping to support us, and yeah, and coaches and Maddie for coaching us, and Logan for being here as well, even though he's hiding back there.
And George, what's your celebration going to look like tonight?
Oh, I don't know. It's been a long week, so probably nothing too crazy, but I'm sure everyone says that, and then yeah, we'll see how we go. We've got an early morning tomorrow, so yeah.
Back to New Zealand?
No, Seb actually goes straight to Cagliari for the America's Cup prelim, and I do a fun bit of driving up to Germany, and then we've got a bit more 49er training at the end of May after this. So we're here for another couple of weeks before we go home.
Amazing. Well, enjoy your World Championship title, and congratulations, guys. Amazing work this week.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
The youngest ever world champions in the whole history of the class. Quite incredible performance. And Seb Menzies has no time to celebrate because he flies across to Cagliari in Sardinia to compete alongside Nathan Outridge, another legend in the 49er in the AC40s next week, the America's Cup preliminary. There's a rerun of the start, so we had a number of boats over. They would have known that straight away, seeing the dreaded red light go off on their Vaqueros system, and this is where the Kiwis made it really hard for themselves. And going up the first beat, Great Britain looking really good in the early stages. Austria also going well in the early stages. They would eventually finish second in this race. Poland 64 out on the far side.
I thought you can see in the start as well, I think the New Zealand boat was just over from doing that last final tack. They were just over at the gun, so they could very, very quickly come down and do that turn below the line before they could restart the race.
There's the Netherlands. We didn't see much of them in that race, but they were there or thereabouts all the time. Austria going round just ahead. Germany having to tack slightly to windward to allow Britain to have space to go round through the inside between the mark and the Germans.
I mean, this race really gave us everything we were having changes the whole way around.
Yeah, I don't know how there are such big holes. There are, I'm going to use it again, snakes and ladders. So many snakes and ladders on such a small race course, but so much changes so quickly. Germany 22 at one point in the overall lead.
And something happening to them on that last downwind. We saw them, last time we saw them was at the top mark. It looked like they were in a great position.
It certainly did. And then something really went badly wrong. Great Britain going round just ahead of the Netherlands and Germany. And then the split between Poland and Austria coming down towards the finish. Poland go on to win the race, but they're not in the race for the medals. Austria are. And so Austria are going to be very happy that they managed to get second, but they're going to look over their shoulder and see where the other finishers were. That's the Netherlands coming across with Poland and Great Britain. But just to the right of your picture there, that was the moment. I wonder how long it took them to work out that they won the gold medal. Seb Menzies and George Lee Rush, youngest ever world champions in the 49er, getting the gold medal. Austria, Keanu Pretner and Jakob Flackberger, a silver medal for Austria. And the bronze medal goes to the Netherlands, Bart Labriux and Floris van der Werken, 3-time world champions. Not quite enough to get their 4th world title, but they were pretty close.
Yeah, and I really also hope, going back to that interview with the New Zealand guys, I really hope they will take the chance to celebrate tonight and not really care about tomorrow, because this is a once in a lifetime that you're winning your first gold medal in the 49er.
Yeah. Well, how did you celebrate in The Hague in 2023?
Yes, exactly. And I think what I really was enjoying the last years and learning was that we really have to celebrate the times that we can celebrate, because you never know when it's going to happen. The sport is changing the whole time, and you can never take anything for granted. And I think celebration should really be a part of the work.
We're not going to have long to be able to reflect on that world title victory for New Zealand either, because it looks like we are into the start sequence for the Nacras. So next up, we've got the Nacra 17 foiling catamarans.
Yeah, this day is just going to go in one, and here we have a completely different scoring.
That's right. And we've got the Italians Gianluigi Ugolini and Maria Giubilei, who just missed out on the world title by the smallest of margins to Great Britain's John Gimpson and Anna Burnett. Well, they desperately want a world title, and right now they're in the box seat, and they will have been encouraged to see that the Kiwis who went in at the top of the standings in the 49er have managed to come away with the gold medal, despite nearly fluffing their lines off that last start line. So the Italians will be wanting to make sure that they don't make any unnecessary mistakes. And what's the point situation like here, Rebecca? How much do the Italians have to worry about the boats behind?
Yeah, so I think the Italians should definitely keep an extra eye on the local Tim Morniak and Alois Retornas that are only 6 points behind, really wanting to be able to take that gold medal on home waters, I'm sure. But the battle is also very high for the bronze and the silver right now. We see the Argentinian Matteo Maidalan and Eugenia Bosco only 9 points behind the British boat, the champions from last year.
We know that the Nacras can't manoeuvre. They can't afford to manoeuvre as much as the 49er or the FX, because it's a high tariff manoeuvre. Every time you tackle jibe, it takes speed off these boats because they are so fast in a straight line. So with that in mind, what do you think is the right strategy for the Nacras here, Rebecca?
I mean, we saw both the right and left being good for the 49er, and it looks like the wind actually been picking up a little bit, and we hope to see these boats foiling. We see the Italian there with one hull in the water, but the ones who can pop and do full foiling today will definitely be someone to watch.
Or will it be on the margins? Will it be that kind of wind strength where if you go for the foil upwind, are you giving away a lot of ground trying to kick the boat up onto the foils and maybe losing too much ground in doing so? We'll have to wait and see. But the thing about these sailors is they're so experienced with this boat. They know where the gear changes are, and probably no more so than the Italians and the British. In between the Italians and the British in the standings are the local sailors from France, Tim Morniak and Alois Retornas, who are having a fantastic week. And Tim Morniak is from right here in Quiberon, so he knows the vagaries of this bay better than anybody. 20 seconds to go. And drifting towards the line, not getting as close as the 49ers would be at this stage. A bit more of a timed run. Great Britain getting close towards the pin end of the line. 7 seconds. 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. There's going to be a couple of port tack starters. Was there anyone over? It looks like it's a clean start.
Oh, it looked very tight there for the Swedish 14 on that line, but it looks like, oh yeah, actually I see the flag there on the race committee. It looks like general or just
two, 3 going back.
Yeah, it looked
two
very,
Swedish
very
boats going
tight
back.
for the Swedish there on the line. It looked like they were a bit too excited, just pushing the line a little bit too early.
That flag was, I thought, a little bit slow to go up. I was looking for it, but it did go up eventually. And wow, so Italy.
Italy, no.
So
that's really
again,
opening
it's
up
a repeat.
the door.
It's a repeat of what we saw with the New Zealanders in the 49er. The leaders in our series have made an unforced error off the start line, and Ugolini and Jubilee have put themselves on the back foot along with the two Swedish teams, and this is really going to open up the opportunity for Morniak and Retornaz to maybe take out the gold medal here on home waters. We're looking very close up with the Dutch team, with the Australians just behind them.
Yeah, and we see the British boat being all the way on the left.
And just going to H2, 2 hulls in the water. You really don't want that. Australia have just tacked. What will what will the Netherlands do? Australia looks on a good heading, having gone on to the other tack. But the Netherlands holding on. And there are some big gaps in this fleet already because, as we just saw, 3 out of the 10 teams had to go back and restart.
Another boat coming to us now actually looks like that's the French boat coming just towards the Dutch right now.
And they're flying 1 hull, the French, as are the Dutch in the front of our picture. But this is light winds. It looks like they're a long, long way from being able to get into full foiling mode upwind. It looks like we're not going to see that on this leg.
But just look at the difference between the Dutch and the French. They're both out on the side of the boat, just pushing that pressure, while we saw on the Dutch boat, the helm was sitting inside. So they definitely see some extra pressure, this French boat.
Right, and remember that they know this bay better than anybody. So you always need to pay attention to what the French are doing and why they might be over there.
Yeah, for the ones watching the trekking, I'm not sure if it's only mine that is jumping a bit of extra, but that's just to make it even more exciting.
Okay. Well, it's all a little bit too exciting for Italian fans because they got a lot of catching up to do.
It looks like they are almost trying to push the boat to actually go up full foiling if they're not foiling already.
Yes, they
found
are full
some
foiling.
Extra pressure there, and they are in the hunt.
And they have got another gear that they're using right now. So is this the start of the comeback for Italy? Netherlands 505 in the middle of your picture. Nice bit of lean on. Definitely in old school traditional catamaran style of 1 hull in the air, 1 hull in the water. But the last shot we had of the Italians was that they have managed to get both hulls out of the water. And they've still got both hulls out of the water. So is there an extra gear they've been holding back on? And now they're bringing it out when it's needed most. But the hull is back in the water now. And I wonder if that's been a gain for them. Just because they're full foiling, it doesn't always mean that it's an automatic gain.
No, I think the Italians are just trying everything they have right now. They know that they started definitely behind the others with having to go back. Also, as you said, with the flag coming up, maybe a little too slow in our eyes and definitely in their eyes to really be in this game.
Looks like it's gone very soft for the French here. Local knowledge not going well for the French at the moment, unless something is about to change for them. But Retornaz really getting low in the boat there.
Oh, the Dutch found some pressure on this left-hand side. The crew can really go out and press the boat again. As we saw on the French, they have to be really careful pushing too much. And here they get into that pressure again.
Oh, wow. How quickly things change. Suddenly the French looking good again. 1.5 trapezing. Netherlands 505 on the far side. Australia looking fast going across the front of the French. But the French at least are mostly trapezing again.
Australians also found a new gear, really speeding up.
2 Australians in this race, 2 Swedes and 2 teams from the Netherlands. Netherlands 5:05 coming in from the right-hand side. Australia tacking on the left-hand side.
And to say it is also 5 boats coming into this final race with the same points.
So a lot to play for with the points so tight in the middle of the pack here. With the Italians coming in with an advantage into this race, but will they have used up their advantage with having to go back and restart? Netherlands drifts round in first place just ahead of Australia. There's the other Dutch boat, Netherlands 22, just behind. Bjarne Bauer and Jorian Hin just getting into the hoist. Jorian Hin finishing off the hoist on the Blue Jenica. And look at the boat picking up pace now. They're about to get up to full speed and should be able to get full foiling on the downwind leg. Just hopping up onto the foils for the leader. And they will be stretching distance on the rest of the fleet who have yet to get round the windward mark. Here come the French in 4th place. Tim Moniac and Alois Retournaz, they went into the day in 2nd overall.
Yeah, hunting that 6 points to the Italians.
Australia 5 coming in from the right-hand side on port tack. Are they going to have room to tack round? No, they're going to have to duck. They're sort of tacking in beneath. So 4 boats in quick succession about to come round.
It looks like a very tight ley line there for the Italians, just squeezing over that top mark, followed by the Swedish boats.
And there are the 2 Swedish boats. These are the 3 boats that were over the line early. And somehow they've all got ahead of Argentina. Argentina having an awful race right now. Matteo Magdalani and Eugenia Bosco coming into this race in 4th place overall. And downwind, the 2 Dutch boats, the Aussies in a Dutch sandwich there. Great Britain, the reigning world champions, getting up to speed.
Yeah, we see there on the Dutch boat how tricky the conditions are. It's really hard to keep the boat foiling the whole time. The pressure is going up and down and shifting left and right. And you really need to be concentrated all the way around.
You certainly do. But this Dutch boat, Bjarne Bauer and Jorian Hin, going into the day in 10th, just managed to scrape into the final 10, leading this race now, giving you some sense of the strength and depth of this fleet. Look at the different angles going on here right now. We've got, on that last shot, it was Italy and Sweden. And back to low riding for the leader of the race, Netherlands 5:05.
Look at the angles. That's just incredible how the pressure is playing the fleet right now. Also to say, even though with the Dutch that was leading, now with the hull in the water, we're not sure for how long, they have also a shot on the bronze.
And as you said about the angles, look at the angles now. I mean, they're about almost 90 degrees off. Oh, and back there they go again. The Italians find their own gust, and they look like they might be able to get down inside Great Britain ahead of them. The angles are all over the place. Italy goes for the jibe.
Yeah, it felt like Italy had to commit to the jibe there, not to sail in the dirty wind from the boats in front when they got that low angle and good pressure to really use the benefit of it and not just sailing into the others.
And the leaders are back off the hulls again there onto the foils. And so those moments of nervousness for them, looking over their shoulder at everybody foiling. Now it's their turn to be full foiling, and the Italians are struggling to get onto full foils. The Italians just about getting onto the foils now.
The crew and the helm are really, really working. We really never see them standing completely still. They're just pushing the boat the whole time.
Second in last year's Worlds, certainly looking to go better than that. These guys still in quest for their first world title. They've been sailing together for 12 years. They're so young, but they've already been sailing together for 12 years, this team, Ugolini and Jubilee.
Yeah, I mean, they know each other so well, and they're used to the foiling, and they really look like a bit more comfortable now with the breeze picking up a little bit. The boat is just like calming down and pushing more forward.
And yeah, the Italians were looking good in that last shot. It's looking a bit slow as they go around the leeward mark for the leaders. This is Netherlands 5:05. More tense moments. They just have to hope that they have chosen the correct of the 2 gate marks.
How stressful Nacra racing, isn't it? You go from full foiling to both of them being inside, just both hulls in the water, and it just changes in the blink of an eye.
It certainly does. Their mode changes are absolutely enormous.
And there, the other Dutch boat is almost rounding up with the kite just to keep this as much speed as possible around this mark. But by the looks of it, it looked like it was good pressure coming down there on the top of the mark, and hopefully we will see them foiling soon.
And the leaders have already tacked onto starboard to get what they think will be the good breeze coming from that side. But I wonder if those going round the left-hand mark, just about to go round the left-hand mark, if they're going to get into that breeze a little bit sooner. This could be an opportunity for Sweden and Australia to make some gains.
Yeah, it looks like Sweden did some gain in this on this downwind. And it also could see there between the gate mark, this blue rib holding up a shield, so it has been changed in the course.
And Italy not really made gains. Italy were looking good there for a while, but it's not really worked out terribly well for them. So they've still got a lot of work to do, and there's only 1 lap remaining of this race. Still got another race to go after that, but it's not been good for Great Britain because Italy have passed Great Britain, and Great Britain are now last. And Argentina has actually got itself back into the mix. So that's a measure of just how difficult it is. The reigning world champions round that gate mark in last place.
Yeah, and look at the Argentina climbing that leaderboard right now. We saw them last at the top mark earlier, but they really found some pace on that downwind to sail past the rest of the
Amazing. And so we can only predict that there's going to be more of this because nothing is certain on this race course, and these boats are so dynamic, they're so on or off. At the moment, the Dutch that we're looking at now leading this race are a little bit off. They can barely get the windward hull lifted, and the crew, Jorian Hin, is sitting into leeward. Now she's out on the trapeze. That's a little bit more encouraging. Going into the tack, she really rolls the boat, hopping onto the trapeze and then running through in front of the mast, hooking up and then moving forwards, ready to jump onto the trapeze if needed. So really mobile around in the front of the boat.
Yeah, it looks like they are getting some good pressure there on the left-hand side. And looking across on our screen, we see another Dutch boat on the other side. But we also know that it can change very quickly, so we can't calculate anyone away. But right now, it looks kind of comfortable for this Dutch boat.
That's quite comfortable, conventional, 1 hull up in the air kind of catamaran sailing. What they'd really like is to have a bit more breeze and be able to get this boat fully foiling, but we're not seeing much of that today.
No, and you see just how much they have to work in and out and changing the settings of the sail to keep a steady boat as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really uncomfortable. It looks like it's a hard work day for the knees and for the legs generally. Jorian just getting out onto the trapeze, being joined by Bjarne Bauer. Oh, and look at the boat to windward of them. They've got a race on. They had a pretty healthy lead, but it looks like, I don't know who that is, if it's the other Dutch boat or the Swedish.
It almost looks like the Swedish boat has been coming. We saw them at the gate. They've been doing a gain on the downwind, and now they've definitely done a gain on the upwind. But it's a tight battle to stay there on the hip of the Dutch boat.
So that's a really good game by Sweden, considering that the Swedish boats had to go back and restart, and now Sweden is possibly even in the lead of this race. But wow, it looks like a match race from here. I wonder what's going on further away.
Yeah, it looks like a very, very hard position to stay in there for the Swedes. And my Swedish heart is, of course, pumping a bit extra for them. But it looks like a very, very challenging position. But it's also not far away from the mark, so maybe they can survive the last bits.
So not far off the windward mark by the look of it.
Yeah, we see here how they've been falling down in the dirty wind of the Dutch boat. But we also saw the mark, so it can't be far away.
And Netherlands going into a very slow tack. Sweden will probably follow shortly. And this is real low riding. I wonder what sting in the tail this race has yet for the final rundown wind. Australia also in the mix. So holding on to their lead by the slimmest of margins. Netherlands 5:05 ahead of Sweden 14, who have made an incredible gain after having to go back and restart earlier on in the race. Followed by Australia 77, Archie Gargett and Sarah Hoffman. Going for a jibe set. Oh, it's a bit of a slow, painful manoeuvre in this breeze.
Yeah, and luckily it wasn't too crowded there from the boats behind. But look, they're already up with one hull, while the others are both hulls down in the water, looking very, very slow. The Swedish also couldn't jibe there. They really tried to jibe.
Full foiling for the Australians. What a good
very
call.
good move for the Australians, seeing that pressure and straight up to foiling, and they will gain very quickly on the leading boats.
Sweden just going to get around ahead of Great Britain, but Great Britain was dead last at the bottom mark, so that's how much things are changing. John Gibson and Anna Burnett have managed to haul some kind of result out of this race, or have they? Because things could, of course, change all over again.
And look now where the Swedish is. We have two Swedish on the screen, but the right Swedish and the boat far away there was the Australian boat that was jibe setting straight away, and just how quickly they sailed away.
31 kilometres an hour to Sweden's 9.6. That's the difference. What an amazing spot by Archie Gargett and Sarah Hoffman. Going for that jibe set. The jibe set looks so uncomfortable, but it was a price worth paying. Here's Tim Morniak and Alois Retornaz, and the boats here are getting onto full foils as well. Here were our former race leaders. They might still be in the lead. It's going to be between Australia and the Netherlands. There's not much to choose between Australia and the Netherlands right now. High wiring. And how different is this from just 30 seconds ago? Both hulls in the water to both hulls out of the water.
It's very incredible. And we also see the Australian boat far away there, and the perspective is a bit hard to judge, but it definitely looks better when everyone is foiling.
Doesn't it just? But here, is it going to be a foiling jibe? Not quite. Not quite. The foiling jibe is a fairly new innovation. They're getting good enough to keep these boats fully flying through the manoeuvres, but not on that occasion. It's still a little bit on the light side. France 51 came into the day second overall. At the moment, Italy still doing enough to be winning overall with a 7-point gap. Points to leader on the right of your screen. Now it's saying a 14-point gap. I'm not quite sure whether that's the case or not. Here's Italy, 98. And it looks like Australia, unless I'm not sure if the Netherlands has already won. Let's have a look back up the course. Australia look like, yeah, they high five, so they've won. Let's look back up the course, and then there's the Netherlands. So the Netherlands have been beaten to the punch by Australia's Archie Gargett and Sarah Hoffman. And what a great move. We've seen the jibe set work so well for the Dutch in the 49er, and now we've seen the Australians execute the same manoeuvre and beat the Dutch in the Nacra 17. Here are the next boats coming to the finish, and is Italy 98 really that high up? So Italy 98 looks like it's going to get possibly fourth across the line, maybe fifth. It might have just been beaten, but very, very close. And so that, I think, yes, Italy 98 comes across in fifth or sixth. Six by the look of it. So not as much of a gain as I thought, but not too bad either for Italy, because France only a couple of places ahead. France was the closest rival to the Italians, so the Italians still holding on to that lead ahead of France.
And the British doing a pretty good comeback.
Wasn't it? Third place for them. Incredible. To be last place a lap earlier, to be able to haul their way back into contention up that windward leg, and then to gain another place on the downwind. And here's Argentina. Argentina had their moments to get back up there, but it looks like Argentina has come across in last place. So, wow, it's such a difficult race course.
Yeah, what a race. It was changing the whole time again. And unfortunately, the Argentinian that really needed a good race to catch up a few points had a really tough one coming in last.
And being over the line, it's a bit more of a guessing game for the Nacras because they're not using the Vaqueros systems. So
yes, exactly. And that's also what we saw. It took some time for the flag. I mean, the race committee is working as fast as they can, but still it's slower than just seeing on the screen if you're green or red.
yeah, so maybe some of those boats didn't need to turn back, but Italy and the 2 Swedish boats did turn back. But it's quite possible that they may not have needed to. Here are those results confirmed. Archie Gargett and Sarah Hoffman. Jibe setting their way into the lead and winning just ahead of Bjarne Bauer and Jorian Hin. And then the reigning world champions, John Gibson and Anna Burnett, having a great final lap to that race. Offman and Houtman from the Netherlands, and then Sweden just back from there. And we have got Alexia on the water, who is just about to have a chat with the Australians who won that race.
2, 1, go.
Yeah, guys, amazing race. You managed to win that race. It was a bit up and down. Talk us through how the race was for you.
It was a bit all over the place, as you saw. Some people had wind, could boil, and some people had no wind. So at the end there, you might have seen us roll the dice a little, and it worked. But we popped out at the front, which was good fun, and won the first final series race.
And Sarah, tell us a little bit. You came into what position, and what can you still achieve here?
Yeah, we came in on 9th, but 5th to 10th was on equal points, so it's kind of all to play for still, so super fun racing.
And what about the next race? What's your strategy going to be for the next race?
I think similar to that, just go for it again and see what happens. Yeah.
Can you still medal, potentially?
I haven't done the maths yet, but we'll see.
Awesome. Well, good luck, and good luck for the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
The Aussies so relaxed. Just another day at the office, the way they talk. But they've got to be happy with that, winning a race at the World Championship.
On a final day when you really want to do it. That's a great skill to have.
Isn't it? So here is that start. Who was over the line?
I must say, definitely looked like the Argentinian. I'm not sure. They were also pushing down a bit of extra, but it looked like when the flag went down that the Italian, the Swedish and the Argentinians, I'm not sure they actually made a turn, but it looks like Argentina was one of the early starters as well.
Oh, really? Okay, so we'll have to see if everyone actually gets a result. I mean, it could be that only one boat was over. When that flag goes up, it doesn't tell you how many were over. It just tells you that somebody was over.
At least they know who was over, so... but I think it was smart from the Swedes and the Italians to go down just to be safe. What a disaster if it would have been sailing a complete race and then crossing the finish line and not getting a result.
Bearing in mind how random this race course is, do you even need to take much of a risk at the start? It almost seems like the start doesn't matter that much.
No, I mean, how many changes didn't we have in this race, and the pressure going up and down, and from moding, they really have to think twice about which mode to gonna sail the boat. So the start seems less important.
Yeah. So will anyone be pushing it next time round? I'm sure they will be. Old habits die hard, and it's not to say that the start is unimportant, but we're seeing so much place changing going on. It seems like it's worth just taking a step back and thinking it's not really worth pushing the final few centimetres on this start. Going round the leeward mark, that's Netherlands 505. And a lot of low riding in this race, and then on other occasions full foiling. We had all the modes going on in this race. Italy with a lot of work to do still.
Yeah, and just here was kind of where the race were taking a turn again with the attack from the Swedish and the Dutch battling up there on the left-hand side, switching the modes the whole time, really trying to keep those hulls stable and getting the force forward. I mean, we still have a very tight for the next race with the points. If I've been calculating right, we still have a tight battle between gold and silver.
Well, that is good to hear.
And bronze, of course.
Well, I was wondering.
Yeah, bronze. We only have 2 points between the bronze and the silver, so it's definitely keeping our eyes on the French and the British.
Great. So a lot to play for. And on this racetrack, we've seen that there is so much unpredictability. Quite a radical jibe there by Italy on the right-hand side.
Not wanting to give away any more meters to the boats behind after that tough. It must have been a very mental race for them all the time climbing back after that early start.
And I feel there's so much expectation on the Italians as well, partly because of their Olympic squad system. I feel like there's a lot riding on it for Italy. There is, of course, from whichever nation you're from. Now, what are all those numbers on the board there? Do I see some sail numbers on the board? I mean, it makes me think that every single boat was over the line. It's like
yeah, but that actually looks like that might be the final after this race, the scores in this race that they were signing just to show everyone on the water how the finish order was in that early race.
Oh, okay. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, so what are you expecting from your coach at this stage? If you're the Italians, what do you want to hear from the coach?
I mean, our coach would probably say, don't take any unnecessary risk in the starts. You should know that you're fast in these conditions. You have a bit of a point lead with the gold right now, so just relax and enjoy the rest of the day. It's not so many times that you are in the position of really fighting for that gold medal.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there are going to be some interesting conversations going on, but sometimes less is more. Maybe you just let your sailors make their own call and their own judgments. We had a chat earlier with the team from Netherlands 505 before they went racing. Let's hear what they had to say.
Final day at the World Championships, and you guys are going in 10th place, which means you've got nothing to lose. Bjorn, how are you feeling going into today?
Yeah, pretty good. As you said, we have nothing to lose and a lot to gain. So I think we're just going all in and see where we end.
And you guys had a really good regatta, but there was a moment where you demasted. How did you recover after that and manage to sneak into that top 10?
Yeah, I think we did really well on putting the new mast on and getting in the right mindset to race again. And the next day we were both just really excited to see what we've got, to show what we've got and just to fight again. So yeah, fight was good.
And how are the nerves for today? Are you a little bit nervous?
A little bit, but I just see it as a super nice experience to race with the top 10 boats of the world and yeah, just enjoy it.
That was the team from Netherlands 505, one of 2 Dutch teams in this final top 10 racing for the Nacra 17 World Championships. Last year's Worlds was a real tight battle between John Gibson and Anna Burnett from Great Britain and Italy's Ugolini and Jubilee. And Italy were really upset not to win that gold medal on home waters, on the waters where they do so much training in the south of Sardinia. They've got so much motivation to win this gold medal. They've lived so much of their careers in the shadows of Ruggero Tita and Caterina Banti, the Italians who have won the last 2 gold medals at the Olympics in Tokyo and in Paris. And then Tita and Banti retired. Tita moved off into Sail GP, was skipper of the Italian Red Bull Italy team last year, and we thought we'd seen the last of them until they turned up in Hyères, having put in a bit of training, and they were leading the first few days in Hyères, reminding everybody that when Tita and Banti want to come back and compete, they're still coming back in right at the top. And Ugolini and Jubilee might feel that they could have been worthy competitors at the Paris 2024 Games, but they didn't get their chance. Instead, Tita and Banti selected ahead of them. So Uglini and Jubilee have got loads of motivation, and they want to get this world title to validate all the hard work they've been doing for a decade or more in the Nacra 17.
Yeah, I mean, it is a bit of extra pressure, I would say, for the Italian Nacras. They've had such a strong squad, and Tita and Banti has been winning so many medals and world championships. So it would be so happy for them to now actually take over that.
Yeah. Well, let's hear from them earlier, because we managed to catch an interview with them on the beach before they went sailing.
Gigi and Maria, final day at the World Championships, and you're in that top spot. You must be a little bit nervous. Maria, how are you feeling going into today?
Yeah, I would say I'm a bit nervous, but also very excited to go out there and send it.
And Gigi, I mean, you've had an amazing week so far, but the French are also really hungry to get that world title. What are you going to do? Have you strategized a little bit on how the day is going to go?
Just send the boat as fast as possible, and we have 2 races. We need to win both races.
Just send the boat as fast as possible, Gianluigi, but what you didn't add to that was make sure that you're behind the line at start time. So make sure you do that in the next race, Gigi. Anyway, I'm being sarky. It's so easy for me to cast judgment on these sailors who are way more accomplished than I am. But you're allowed to, Rebecca, because you've won loads of things. So if you see them make a mistake, you're allowed to call them out.
Yeah, I would be careful. You never know if you get the job back. But it's definitely easier said than done. And I mean, it's so much excitement, and they have a bit of extra adrenaline on a day like today, and it's just so much on stake for them. And I'm actually happy for the Italians to be able to climb back after that turn and just going down. But I would be surprised if we see them pushing the line for the next race.
We've also got an interview with Tim Morniac and Alois Retournaz from France. We got this earlier, so let's hear what they had to say.
And Alois, it's finals day at the World Championships, and you were leading for quite a while in the regatta. Now you're in second place. You can still win that world title. How are you feeling, and what are you going to do going into today?
It's an amazing feeling to go in the medal race in the middle position, and yeah, we will fight for the title and for the medals today. We will see how it will go. Let's say we are more in attack mode, so yeah, full on and full send today.
So you won't be conservative today. And Alois, I'm sure you're a little bit nervous. Your whole family is here also cheering you on. How does it feel to have everyone here supporting you?
Yeah, for sure, we are a bit nervous. It's a very, very good training for the game, because all the French are behind us, and all the people from Quiberon are behind team, and my family is here as well with friends. So it's super exciting. We can be super proud of being in this position today already. And I think they're proud of us, and they're going to cheer for us. So yeah, I think they're going to be a super booster.
Tim et Aloïse, vous êtes en deuxième position maintenant au championnat du monde. Vous pouvez encore gagner le titre mondial. Tim, comment tu te sens aujourd'hui avant les finales?
Ouais, exactement. Jour de finale, dernier jour des championnats du monde, on est en seconde position et déjà super fier d'être à cette position et de pouvoir fighter pour les médailles aujourd'hui. Et comme tu le disais, encore un spot pour remporter le titre. Donc voilà, mode attaque et on verra comment ça se passe sur l'eau. Mais en tout cas, on est vraiment enthousiaste et motivé.
Et Aloïse, tu me disais, toute ta famille est ici. Vous avez un gros groupe de supporters qui vont vous pousser aujourd'hui. Comment tu te sens et comment c'est d'avoir ta famille ici?
C'est vraiment génial. Je pense que c'est une chance. C'est aussi une belle reproduction de ce qu'on peut vivre pendant des Jeux Olympiques. Donc, il faut vraiment prendre cette opportunité. Tous nos proches sont hyper fiers. Il y a tout Quiberon qui est derrière Tim, ma famille, mes amis qui sont venus aussi. Donc, voilà, on va essayer de les faire rêver aujourd'hui et de revenir avec une belle médaille d'or si on peut.
Ouais, bah, bonne chance. On est tous avec vous.
Merci beaucoup.
So that was the French fighting for a medal, still with a chance of getting the gold from Italy, but Italy looking very strong for that gold medal after a good recovery in that race. We've had a variety of conditions across the last 6 days of racing. Let's get a look across the week at some of the amazing Nacra 17 racing that we've been able to enjoy. So we've seen everything this week. We've seen light winds, strong winds, Nacra 17s having to deal with all kinds of weather here in the Bay of Quiberon. And we've got this bay thanks to the peninsula of Quiberon, but just on the other side of that narrow peninsula is the wide open Atlantic Ocean. So we really feel close to nature here. I don't know if you know what I mean, Rebecca, but this is quite a special part of France here, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels like we're really, really being wide open to the Atlantic, and it's we're feeling pretty safe here on the inside of this bay. And even on the windy day, we could see the courses that was a bit further out. It's really quickly getting tough sailing.
Yeah, it would do, wouldn't it? So yeah, the bay has and this peninsula has allowed us for racing to go ahead on even the really strong wind day on day 3. Let's have a look at while we're waiting for the committee to settle the race course for this shifting wind, let's take a look at some of the 49er action earlier this week. Still holding for the wind. You can see there's not an awful lot of wind at the moment, but at the same time we know that these boats don't require a lot of wind to get moving, and I quite enjoy the mode shifts that we saw in that previous race, and so even in the Olympics in not much wind, the Nacras gave us some pretty interesting racing. Rebecca, you've been running the numbers. Just give us the likely scenario in the Nacra 17s. Italy, how secure for them would you say that gold medal is at this stage?
I mean, it is very secured right now. The only thing they just need to keep themselves close to the French boat and not becoming last. And if the Italian boat comes last and the French boat is winning, then that would be it. Then no more medal or no more gold medal for the Italian. Otherwise, if they just finish like they've done before, not anything spectacular, close to the French, the gold medal is theirs.
Okay. And what will the others be thinking? Would you think France will be looking to get that gold medal, or do you think it's going to be more about the defence of the silver medal?
I think the French and the British, they just really have to focus on themselves and or even on each other to be able to secure that silver and bronze. It will be a tough fight for that silver. It's only 2 points splitting them.
Okay, so is Archie Gargett and Sarah Hoffman winning that last race moves them up to 4th? What chances of them going any higher than that? Do they have any chance of actually being able to get onto the podium?
The Australians?
Yeah, I think they're probably done, right? So
I also think so. I mean, the fleet is too competitive. It's and it's too many points. They can't get that point working for them anymore in only one race. So, I mean, we still want to keep an eye on the Italians, but I think the real battle in this race will be between the French and the British boats.
Okay. Well, thanks for summing that up for us. So it looks like all the Nacra medals are going to go to European countries. We've got Australia and Argentina just outside. Looks like they're just going to miss out on the podium. And then for Sweden to end up 8th and 9th, they look like they were on the rise this week. They started slowly, but they've slipped away again, and that must be a little bit disappointing after a really strong start to the season for the Swedish.
Yeah, I think so too. But they still have their points are a bit closer than we see between the 3rd and the 4th place. So I still think the Swedes, they still have a chance to be climbing that leaderboard before the end of the day.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we've got 2 minutes to the start of the second and last of our 2 finals races for the Nacra 17. And we've got on the outside of the course, we've got the FXs waiting patiently, because it will be the FXs up next after we've done this Nacra 17 race. So the weather is just about holding good for us. We've got 5 to 9 knots of breeze from the west, pretty much flat wave state, and still not particularly warm out there, but it's about to heat up with a minute to go. And there's still quite a long way back from the start line, as we tend to see the Nacra's 17s do. They like a bit more of a run-up than the 49ers and the FXs.
And I would almost say that this is the hardest conditions to sail the Nacra, because you need to be doing that mode changes the whole time. You can never relax and just let the boat do the work. You have to be pushing and moving and working the boat the whole time to make it go forward.
Yeah, a constant moving around the boat, as we saw with that close-up of the Dutch in the previous race. One of the teams is sailing out to the far side, looking like they're probably going to go for a port tack start behind the fleet. But the other 9, or maybe there are 2 going for the port tack start, because I see an acceleration away by 2 of the boats. So possibly 2 port tack starters coming in, and the rest lining up on starboard, and it's looking busy up this end of the line. 13 seconds to go. 10 seconds. Sweden 14 and Australia 77 going for port tack starts. I thought for a moment, are they going to try and nip across the front? Is Sweden still going to do that? Yes, they are. Are they going to get away with it? Incredibly brave start by Sweden 14, but no, it's not going to work out for them. Instead, it's a good start at the pin end for France 51, and up the far end, Italy with a good start off the committee boat end. They're in a position to tack and hold their lane, but a really good start by Netherlands 22 and the other Swedish boat, Sweden 61.
Yeah, it was just too tight there for Sweden 14, Emil Jared and Hannah Johnson to be able to make that cross. They were a bit too slow and had to make a penalty turn.
Yeah, that's expensive. And look, they're already hopping up onto the foils. I wasn't expecting to see this so soon. Italy on the far side, not yet up onto the foils, but Italy just getting onto the foils in the middle of your picture in the distance. Tim Morniak and Alois Retornaz looking really solid on this side, and the Nacra looking absolutely beautiful, even getting a bit of windward heel into the boat on the French team.
Yeah, and I think we should remember to keep an extra eye on the French and the British here, because that's actually where the excitement in this race is going to be. We see the Italians already having a great start, sailing very fast. So I think this is going to be everything between the British and the French covering up there, the British, just to keep an extra eye on them, making sure to be crossing that finish line before. But the Swedish, they really want to be in the game as well and not giving it away for the French.
Yes, so Swedish almost upsetting the French line of clear air there, but the French certainly looking to defend against Great Britain, who didn't have the best of starts. Close cross there between Australia and Argentina. And you can really see how the teams roll tack these boats through the turn, making sure that there's only one hull in the water as they go through the turn, trying to minimise the wetted surface area and speed up the manoeuvre. Australia rolling away on the right of picture. Netherlands 22 still foiling, just about to go into attack.
Let's see how quick they can get up on this foils. This meter now when everyone is foiling is very important, because as we saw before, the boats that is foiling is really sailing away from the rest of the fleet.
And the French certainly foiling very nicely, and Great Britain climbing out from underneath the French. Great Britain have managed to escape the clutches of the French for the time being, but things change so quickly.
Yeah, it actually looked like it was a very painful tack there from the Swedish. The Swedish Ida Svensson and Marcus Stackhammer was just sailing away out of the picture there on the left, and it looks like the British could really gain from that and just be sailing more meters forward.
And the British really making up good ground. Here's the British from another point of view. And these are the reigning world champions. Highly unlikely they're going to be able to hold on to their world title, but they're certainly going to fight hard to get the silver medal away from France 51. It's the battle between Great Britain and France. France finds a higher mode, maybe better breeze, lifting them up. And now the British are low riding as they go through their tack, and looks like they're out of the breeze a little bit now. So they were going so well. But John Gimpson standing up on the trampoline, really struggling for breeze right now. So it was looking so good. And now the French are firing right past them.
Yeah, it happens everything so quick. The British looked so strong there and just tacked too late to get outside of the pressure, and the French get a bit more left pressure there to just be able to bounce back and take over the lead there over the British.
France just about to go into their tack on that last one. Sweden 14 crossing behind Great Britain. Now France is off the foils. Great Britain and France both in low riding mode, but at least Gimpson and Burnett are able to stretch and put some power, really straightening out their backs and hoping they can get back onto the foils. France are back onto the foils again, and they're on the ley line.
Yeah, and it looks like the Swedish just rolled on top of the Dutch there. I'm not sure. We don't see them in the picture anymore, but it looked like Sweden, Ida Svensson and Marcus Stackhammer is going to be first at this top mark.
Good sailing by the Swedes. One Swede playing catch up at the back after messing up the start. That attempted port tack start for Sweden 14, but Sweden 61 looking really good. Managing to stay on the foil
what
through
a beautiful
the
hoist. And then we had the Dutch and the French hunting down that silver medal.
Going round the spacer mark. And then Argentina and Italy closely followed by Great Britain. Full foiling.
But I must say I'm a little surprised we haven't been seeing Italy so much in this race, because we have all felt like they are very secure in this race, but they are further back than I thought they would be.
But not so far back that they need to worry, right? They're only 3 places behind the French. They need to keep an eye on the French. And as long as Italy don't finish last.
And the French is winning.
Yeah.
The gold medal is Italians.
France jibe. They're off the foils, but there's good breeze there. It won't take long to get back on the foils again. Australia coming down towards their line. Argentina also going very quickly, full foiling. France just getting up to speed now. But France having to sail up. I wonder if they're going to get sailed over
Yeah.
by Argentina and Australia. It looks like France are being sucked up into the air of the Australians and the Argentinians, and this is going to play into the hands of the British. The British really need these other teams to put some bad air on the French if the British are going to be able to close the gap.
We also see Italy there really coming closer to the Australians being very fast downwind.
Argentina is momentarily off the foils, but back on the foils again. France getting sucked up to the line of Australia. This is not going well for France right now. Quite compromised here, and they could be rolled by the Italians as well.
It also looks like they, on the tracking, like they don't have so much of an options. We have the gate coming up closely here on the right-hand side, and the Argentinians is just taking down the kite to be going upwind again.
There's the rounding. Australia just passing behind Argentina. Now the Italians going round, already looking over his shoulder. I'm surprised that Ugolini isn't focused on his own boat, but he really wants to know where the French are.
So the French tacked straight away after that gate rounding to be able to get some more free air. There was a tough downwind for them, losing 2-3 positions on that last bit.
But as long as the French stay ahead of the British, the French will hold on to the silver medal. That's the important thing for them, right?
Yeah, I mean, 2 points, so they need at least one boat in between.
Okay. Sweden 61 just about holding on to foiling, but they go through the roll tack, and now there'll be single hull flying, getting back up to speed again. 10th at last year's Worlds, 6th at the Worlds 2 years ago. Ida Svensson and Marcus Dackhammer on port tack, looking to just get the boat on the foils, which they now managed to do.
Yeah, what a great job from the Swedes now, really bouncing back after that earlier race where they were over the line and just bringing it back together, realizing they have still many points to be working, to be climbing the leaderboard for the final result.
And look at the difference in angle. Yes, the French are foiling, but they're going a lot lower in angle than the Australians. So I wonder which is the winning mode right now. This is hard for a Nacra non-expert like myself to know whether it's the French who were foiling or the Aussies who were one hull flying, which is the best. But it looks like France might have made a gain on Australia.
Yeah, by the scoring on the left side, it looks like the French been climbing up again with that early tack at the gate and just be getting clear air and be able to sail the boat more free and fast and in the mode that they really want to.
Well, considering that they were struggling with being rolled by other boats, this is a really good gain by France here, isn't it?
Yeah, just look at the difference with the Italians that was also coming around the mark in front of them, and we see them further down the course there at the top of our screen, and it looks like France been overtaking them.
I wonder if Italy really is in last place. So if Italy has dropped to the back, now the question is, we've got this one scenario where the French could possibly get the gold medal, and that is if they can get to the front of this race. And when you see that the Swedes are doing 30 kilometers an hour of boat speed, you think, well, that's probably not very likely. But we know, we know after 6 days of racing here that things can change very quickly here.
Yeah, it goes very quick, but it is hard to believe that they are doing 30 kilometers per hour when we see the British. It looks very slow for them right now.
Painfully slow, and John Gimpson just getting off the trampoline and onto the trapeze, and at least they've got one hull flying again, and suddenly it looks a little bit better for the British and almost look like they're going for full foiling mode. It's changing so quickly.
Let's see what the Australian boat is doing here, if they're just going to let the British boat go. Yeah, it looks like they're not want to get into that battle, because for them, the medals is not deciding anymore for the Australians.
No, that's right. So, conventional flying one hull for Great Britain at the moment. Gimpson and Burnett, relentless campaigners and competitors. they will know when to go for full foiling mode, and that's what they're going for now. And the Brits have suddenly got that boat motoring again.
And I think it's the French that we see there on the top left, just crossing.
And
that should be our top mark that we see, the red mark coming.
Yeah, not beyond that. Wow, so we are close.
No, that seems to be an old mark.
That was the spacer mark, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I was feeling a bit confused there for a moment with so many marks on our race course. Luckily, the sailors aren't confused.
Yes, yeah. Swedish foiling really nicely there. Edith Svensson and Marcus Stackhammer. Looks like they're adjusting a bunch of things. They might be close to the windward mark. Yes, they are. They're just about to go round.
Oh, they're hoisting already. Not giving any extra meters away for the others to catch up. And it looks like a hard time for the French right now to overtake the lead. But we should also say never. It's never over. We've seen it before. We saw it the last race on the last downwind, how the boats were 2 hulls in the water and some were full foiling.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going well for Sweden at the moment, with Sweden holding the top 2 spots. No, not quite. It's Australia that's going to go round in second, and the other Swedish boat, Sweden 14.
But what a climb from the Swedish 14,
Isn't it?
Being dead last at the start of the race.
Amazing comeback for them, just making an absolute mess of the start, but recovering super well. With Italy going round in 4th place, they were recorded as being in last place not long ago, so a good climb by Italy in the latter stages of this windward leg. And France, 2 places, possibly 3 places ahead of Great Britain. So Great Britain looking like they're going to have to settle. Oh, just getting that Jenica up not far from that mark. That was a close call. Straight into the drive set. Might as well give it a go. This is the last chance saloon for Great Britain. And if there's any racetrack where they can still overtake and cause an upset, it's the Bay of Quiberon. Strange things have happened, and often this jibe set has been the winning move that has brought some surprises for those that have dared to do this.
Yeah, actually here now on the tracking, we know the tracking is a bit behind, but it looks like they have some really good angles and speed coming down on this last downwind.
So, could there be one last surprise for the French? Could the British overtake the French? We'll have to see. Italy being in 4th place, that gold medal is looking increasingly secure. There is a jibe from Sweden 61. Not far off the finish now for the Swedes.
What a way to end the regatta.
Lovely way. And a high five for Ida Svensson and Marcus Stackhammer, finishing their world regatta here in Quiberon in the best possible way, winning the last race of the day on the final day. So well done to Sweden 61, seeing out that race on this really tricky race course. And now France 51 coming downwind, and it's looking increasingly like they have secured the silver medal here. And the local fans in Quiberon will absolutely love to see Tim Moniak and Alois Retornaz take the silver medal here on home waters. And how glorious is that? Full foiling down towards the finish. And going so fast across that finish line. Fantastic performance by the French. Congratulations to Tim Moniak and Alois Retornaz. And already they're celebrating on the Italian boat. They've yet to cross the line. But the Italians are just about to win their first senior world title. They have waited so long for this. 14 years of campaigning.
12 years of sailing together, and here they are.
Amazing, amazing. Congratulations, Gigi and Maria. and that will mean so much to them. The Italians as a nation have dominated Nacra 17 racing over most of the last decade, but it's mostly been that other team absent from here, Tita and Banti, and finally it's the chance for the younger Italian sailors that we're looking at here to have their day in the sun. So it's the Italians who win in France ahead of the local team from France who get the silver medal, and the bronze will go to the outgoing world champions from Great Britain, John Gimpson and Anna Burnett. Wow, massive relief for them.
Oh, you can just see how happy they are, and I think they can't really believe it yet. I mean, what a week they've had. They've been constantly at the top and been battling with Tim Morniak and Alois Retrand and the British just being behind.
And they're lovely people as well. Always got a smile in the boat park. They take what they do extremely seriously, but they are very popular in the fleet as well. And there we have the flotilla around the local heroes. I think we're looking... Actually, who are we looking? Yes, it is the French. I was wondering if it was somebody else, but that is the French that we're looking at there. Tim Morniak and Alois Retornes. But we have an interview lined up with our new gold medalists from Italy. So let's hear from them on the water.
Gigi and Maria, 12 years sailing together. You finally did it. World champions in the Nacra 17. How does it feel?
We feel good. We had 2 really tricky races, and we managed to bring it home.
Yeah, you did. Maria, how was it in that race? Were you nervous the whole time?
Yeah, I was super nervous. I was testing Gigi, but I was like, please God, and like it's amazing, incredible.
You sound like there was luck involved, but I think you guys had a really good week. I mean, the French were in contention as well. Were you keeping an eye out for them too on the race course?
For sure, they are locals, so they know pretty well the course. It's a strange race course here, but through the week we managed to understand a bit, and we managed to win.
You came really close last year, and I think there were a few tears of sadness. Did you tear up and joy this year?
Yeah, for sure. It's like now I'm super happy. I just think of now and here, and all the rest is just past. So I'm super happy.
Amazing. Congratulations, guys. Amazing work this week. You deserved it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexia, and congratulations again to Gigi and Maria, our new Nacra 17 world champions, and no one more deserving. No one has worked longer or harder to achieve that, and it's still sinking in for them both.
It's just incredible pictures, isn't it? They've been so focused this whole week, and they've been, whenever we've been talking to them, it's been a smile on their face and just really focused on the racing.
There's the confirmation of who won what in the final race. So Ida Svensson and Marcus Stackhammer from Sweden winning the final race ahead of Archie Gargett and Sarah Hoffman, having a really good final day for Australia. And then Jeruden Jonsson coming back from that awful start to get third across the line. So really good results for Sweden. Then Morniak and Retornes crossing the line in fourth to get the silver medal, and Ugolini and Jubilee are Italians in picture. Fifth place across the line, good enough for the gold medal. And then just a bit further back, John Gimpson and Anna Burnett from Great Britain just missing out this time. They got the gold medal last year. This year it's going to be the bronze. It's been a difficult week. It's been really hard to make sense of the conditions. But in the end, some high-quality teams have won out.
I'm not even sure anymore who would be the most happy right now. We see the French, they're so happy, they have so much support. And I think we all that's been in sport, there's nothing just like winning on home waters.
Yes.
Not even winning, being second, medaling on home waters. no better feeling.
Yeah, and they are not generally one of the front runners. They're normally nipping at the heels of some of the other teams. It's been a good year for Sweden so far. The Argentinians, the Italians, the British generally doing very well consistently in this fleet. So that this has been a good result for France. And we understand we might have a chance to speak with Tim Moniak and Alois Retornaz very shortly. So back over to Alexia on the water.
In the number 17 on home waters, you must feel so excited. So many people here. How are you feeling now?
Yeah, it's feeling like we thought that we were with this crowd, but yeah, no, vice versa. And those conditions wasn't so easy though, because the wind was shifting a lot. But yeah, so much emotion and super happy to bring this home, at home.
Not too far away. Alois is quite a new team. It must feel so amazing from the 470 and getting a medal in the Nacra in your first.
Yeah, it's amazing. Quite a young team still, so really I'm super proud of the work we did with Tim and Gilda, our coach. Staying now, so wow, it's just incredible and so proud to show us here. It's really
amazing. Team, un petit mot français pour le public qui regarde en France.
Merci à tous de nous avoir soutenus durant cette semaine. Depuis le jour 1, on a nos ultras derrière qui sont à bloc derrière nous, que ça soit en mer ou à terre ici à Quiberon. Et voilà, bah, c'était un peu un petit rêve, hein, il faut le dire, de leur ramener une médaille. Mais bah, voilà, on a réussi et une belle médaille d'argent à la maison, c'est dingue.
Et Alois, comment vous avez célébré ce soir?
On va faire la fête, mais c'est un truc de fou. Il y a les ministres qui sont juste en face de nous sur le Zodiac et tout le monde qui va fêter ça avec nous, donc c'est génial.
Super, bravo.
Merci.
Big support for the French here in Quiberon in Brittany and the north of France. The local heroes getting the silver medal, but it's Italy who take out the big prize. And there is Great Britain, John Gibson and Anna Burnett with the bronze, sailing back ashore.
And it's a little bit like they said, they're not even sure if they were winning or coming second, because the support and the love that they're getting on the water right now is just incredible.
They're loving this moment. And Alois Retornaz, not long converted from the 470 class into the Nacra. She got an Olympic bronze medal in the 470 and now proving that she's made a very rapid transition across into the Nacra, which is a completely different boat, completely different type of sailing, and showing how adaptable she is. Because learning that, how to keep that boat flying must be completely alien to a 470 sailor.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't think of almost any bigger difference than coming from the 470 to the Nacra. Yeah, we see the 470s, that's kind of the slow traditional boat, and then we have the Nacra just foiling and being one of the toughest.
Yeah, so well done to Alois, teaming up so successfully with Tim Moniak. And I was speaking with Tim's dad earlier today, Kino Moniak, himself an Olympian in multi-hulls back in the day, so continuing a family tradition of fast Olympic catamaran sailing, getting the silver medal today. And so he'll be a proud dad who hasn't had to travel very far today to see his son competing, because he lives right here in Quiberon. Argentina, Matteo Magdalani, Eugenio Bosco, the Olympic silver medalists from Paris 2024, they'll be a little bit disappointed to come away without a medal this time.
Yeah, it just shows how tricky the racing have been out here. We've said it so many times, but I think we could see it once again in this medal race, how often the results were changing, and you really need to be sailing your own boat and looking for the pressure.
Yeah. And John Gibson and Anna Burnett, they'll probably be a little bit disappointed with the bronze because they're so used to winning things. But it's been a really, really tough week, and I think at times they've struggled with boat speed. I'm not sure why. But they've also got some really good starts when we saw them the other day, and they weren't able to convert those starts. And we saw the Dutch in the 49er get some really good starts, which they weren't able to convert. And starting, you always want to get a great start if you can, but it's been no guarantee of success this week, has it?
No, it's been too much shift and too much pressure differences around the course. But I mean, coming away with the bronze medal after a week like this, it must feel good deep inside, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
And what a wave to end for the Swedish. We also saw, now we haven't kept so much focus on it actually, but we also saw the Swedish, both of the Swedish teams coming away with a good end result with 1 and 3 after a very tough start, especially for Emil and Hanna having to make a turn.
Yeah, do you know how things have played out for the minor placings behind them? Archie Gargett and Sarah Hoffman, they got up into 4th after an amazing final day, is that right?
Yeah, if my calculations are right, we'll have the Australians 77 in 4th, followed by the Dutch 505, Bover and Hin.
And then the Swedes have climbed up a little bit. So very close on points between the two Swedes, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, and also with the Dutch boat, it looks like they're all ending on the same points, and it's definitely been a tight battle.
Well, what drama we've seen so far in the 49ers and the Nacra 17s, and now you're looking at the 10-boat fleet in the 49er FX. This is the women's skiff, and bottom right of your picture you can see the Spanish sail, ESP 76. They are the reigning world champions, Paula Barcelo and Maria Cantero, and they are leading going into the final day. They're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, they have actually a 9-point lead coming into today, and but it will be very interesting. I mean, it's definitely not over. It's 2 races that we're going to see now. We know how tricky the conditions are, and we know also that it's very, very tight behind them, with both France and Belgium having 9 points up to that gold medal, Norway and Germany having 10. And the second German boat, Maruschel and Freya Falk, is with 11 points. So we're going to see another very, very tight 2 races.
Yeah, still some difficult medals to be decided. But the French, they're flying the tricolor, and they're going to enjoy this moment an awful lot.
You could almost see, even though we didn't see the fully faces, we could see the smiles going from one side to the other on the crew.
Yeah, absolutely loving this moment on a beautiful weekend here in Quiberon in Brittany and the north of France.
But for us, it's not over.
For us, it's not over because these FX sailors are getting their game faces on. This is what you have spent most of the last 10 years doing until you retired after winning your Olympic silver medal at Paris 2024, Rebecca. How much are you envying them being on the water right now? Well, maybe you're not envying them at all, considering how difficult this racetrack is.
Yeah, I mean, the racetrack is very tricky, and the points are very close. I felt watching the 49ers, my heart was beating, and I was just being fully into the racing, almost forgetting that we're actually sitting here supposed to talk about it as well. And if we look very, very closely on the committee boat, we see the frequency is already going. We have less than 4 minutes to start.
Okay, the Blue Peter is flying. The FXs are using the Vacaros electronic starting system, so they will see the green light or the red light, depending on whether they're behind the line or over the line at start time. So we're unlikely to... Well, we still don't know actually who was over in that Nacra race, whether everyone needed to go back in that first Nacra race or not. 2 Swedes and the Italians thinking that they were over. This time it will be much clearer for the teams.
Yeah, and we already see them setting up all over that starting line. And it looks like it won't be much space over. It's a bit tighter there at the committee boat, but there's no real difference.
There's Paolo Barcelo and Maria Cantero ahead of France's Bear and Ryu, 9 points back, and very, very close points. It's only really the Spanish that are on a bit of a breakaway, but even then they can't rest on their laurels. The Spanish still have a lot to do.
Now let's keep a close eye on that committee boat to see the flags to get a confirmation with the time.
And they're lined up very early here, aren't they? They've still got 1 minute 50 to go.
Yeah, it looks like it's a very excited fleet today, and they just want this championship to be over, to put the shoulders down and relax after a very hectic week of racing.
How hard is it to keep the boat on position doing this? And who's doing what? What's the helm do? What's the crew doing?
Yeah, so for these girls, it's not so hard anymore, but I think for everyone stepping in the boat, they're definitely find it struggling. So the helm is just working with the rudder and the mainsail to be holding that position. And the crew is keeping the balance of the boat and watching out for other attacking boats around them. And the crew just being as calm as possible, calculating down the time and just giving confidence to the helm.
So the Blue Peter should have come down just then. We're looking at Freya Black and Saskia Tidy.
And we also see the pressure coming down there on the start line, and we can't expect anything else, that this is going to be another tricky race for the FX.
Norway a little bit closed out at the moment at the windward end.
And we saw there as well, we have the L2 race course. We know in the past that sometimes that can be a tricky one if they're changing the course, but now we should be confident that we have the course that we're expecting.
It's a standard L2. That's nice to hear. And what a beautiful line of boats. This is such discipline starting we're seeing now. We've got just over 10 seconds to go. At the moment, everyone is still behind the line, but very little space to accelerate into. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! And is it going to be a clear start? Let's see if anyone turns back. It looks like possibly the Italians on the far side. Is it Italy or France who have...
It's France not making the line there, or maybe they hit the pin and boat and have to go around to restart.
And that's our currently in silver medal position, Per and Rio putting themselves on the back foot with that, having to go back round. So that's going to make life difficult for them. It's going to make it even easier for Spain, who have got a fantastic start on the left of your picture. Even easier for them to defend the gold medal position. Spain getting the start they wanted and already looking a click faster out of the blocks.
Yeah, and we can see that as well, that the French boat were straight away getting the Norwegian boat on top of them, so they probably feel a little stressed and uncomfortable right now.
The only thing that Spain can't yet do is they can't choose when they tack, but they might be able to as they keep on stretching the distance on Belgium 18 and the rest of the pack over their shoulder.
Yeah, they look very fast here, Spain, and they just have to extend this lead and making sure that they're not speeding off too much, keeping the connection to the windward boats.
And as you say that, they might be losing their connection a little bit to the windward boats. It looks like Canada would still be a threat if they tried to tack.
Yeah, definitely. Here I would be very surprised if they were able to tack and cross. We have both Canada and the British boat. We know the British boat is very fast in these conditions as well. They have a little tougher time holding the lane there on Canada.
Yeah. So Great Britain really dictating the run of play at the moment. Until Britain tacks, Canada can't tack, and until Canada tacks, Spain can't tack.
Yeah, it starts to clear off, and I think we'll just see them one after another, and right now it's the British boat being in control.
And the British are looking quite high. They seem to want to keep on pushing out this side, so Britain really dictating. Britain do now tack. Won't be long before Canada will want to tack as well.
Yeah, they're getting closer and closer to that ley line. And if I would be Spain, I would really like them to tack soon, because Spain is really running out of space here on the left-hand side.
And the Belgians and the Canadians lifting up inside the Spanish, and after such a great start, Spain's going to go anyway. Spain's getting impatient. is going to have to duck behind the Belgians. This is not what they wanted.
Especially not when Canada see that opportunity that Spain goes behind and attack. They could maybe been waiting with attack just a little bit to really make their life harder for Spain here.
So Canada nominally in the lead at the moment, but it's still very, very close. Things are going to move around an awful lot.
Yeah, definitely. It looks good here for Germany 55 as well, Hanna and Marla. And it will be an interesting cross. By the look of it from the tracking, are they still a little bit behind, but it's very close.
Beautiful conditions. The breeze is really up again, fully stretched. And we're going to see them planing downwind if this breeze holds up. Now it's a close cross. Looks like Great Britain's just going to get across the front of Germany 55. To win of Great Britain, Germany 22 going really well.
Yeah, it actually looks like Germany 22 here has been taking a bit of a step forward. Let's see if they choose to go or they choose to go behind. And they're not really on ley line. Would have expected the British there to be tacking on ley line. So I don't know if that was a little bit of an error there from the German boat, giving away a bit too much extra distance.
Maybe so. Looks like Great Britain have got that ley line. So Britain looking good for leading into this first mark. Freya Black and Saskia Tidy.
It's going to be tight there for the Spanish. Are they going to be able to get in there without infringing anyone?
And Belgium. Somehow Spain has managed to get quite well ahead of Belgium. And Belgium, who was so close to Spain, is going to end up a few spots behind. So Spain emerges from a difficult mid part of the windward leg to come around in second place.
Yeah, let's keep an eye here on the Canadian and the Spanish, because the Spanish came around quite slow, and we already see the Canadian rolling on top of the Spanish, taking over that second place.
Yes, but not too much to worry about for Spain, because the closest competitors to Spain are the French, who had that awful start. Now look how streaky the breeze is, quite strong at the moment. So they're planing downwind, but will it hold? Great Britain jibes out onto port. Looks a little bit soft where they've jibed, but they must have seen something to want to decide to jibe there.
Yeah, we also see here on the tracking, we can't see it in picture right now, that Denmark 41, Jenna Seaton was jibe setting, and looks like she's been gaining a lot on the rest of the fleet.
So the early jibe could work well for Denmark. We might find out. This is probably why Great Britain has decided to jibe, and Great Britain on the making jibe towards the bottom mark. So have the others overstood? It looks like that was a good move by Great Britain to jibe when they did. And there's something wrong with one of the German boats flogging their Jenica and losing a lot of ground.
And Canada is, Belgium is taking the opportunity straight away, rolling on top of them and really leaning back, pushing the boat forward to get to that gate.
Looks like a good call by Great Britain to make the early jibe, but it does depend where those leeward gates are. I think Spain has rather overcooked it on the far left-hand side. Spain looks like they're hard pressed here, front of picture.
Yeah, we also see Denmark there coming in on starboard to the gate, and the British boat just jibing in front of them there. Canada getting more pressure, which will even put more pressure getting around that gate.
Spain don't want to see what's happening to Canada, because it's going to get even harder for Spain. They're going to need really good boat handling getting this kite down, and they're going to have to do that pretty soon. So GBR 24, really well executed run, keeps them in the lead, but Spain managed to get away with it. Boat handling is excellent. Canada goes round this mark in second. Denmark goes round the far mark. That's Germany following the Danes around the far mark. And Poland going round the right-hand mark. A little bit too much lean on the boat. Quite a lot of main sheet to get in.
Yeah, we just see on the water now how much wind has been picking up, and you really can't be cheating on the boat handling, because you will be punished straight away.
No, that's right. Spain has tacked out, and these are our leaders who have just decided to tack and consolidate and cover the boats. That's Canada just behind them. I think Canada made a good gain on the British, but Britain just staying ahead of the Canadian sisters. And Spain tacks back again. This is a lot of tacking in a short space of time for Spain.
Yeah, I think Spain felt a little bit like the right-hand side there from the Belgium has been really taking a punch there, choosing the other gate, so they want to get back and really securing that left-hand side that's been so strong earlier.
And France is back up to 7th place. France in contention for the medals and the closest threat to taking the gold medal away from Spain, but Spain still ahead of the French and with a fairly decent points gap going into the day. Great Britain fully stretched, Freya Black and Saskia Tidy coming out towards the right hand side, Belgium passing behind.
Yeah, I think we could keep an extra eye on the Belgian boat as well. They're also very tight on points with the French that we unfortunately haven't seen that much in this race.
Beautiful 49er FX conditions right now.
Yeah, we also have the Norwegian boat that we saw a little further down the fleet together with Germany 55, Marla and Hannah. That's all very even on the points for the silver and bronze. Not that the gold is already decided, but that's where the points were the closest.
Belgium sailing this leg well, just passing ahead of Spain. Close between Denmark and Great Britain. And now Canada coming across. Looks like they're going to pass just behind Great Britain.
Yeah, here we can see Canada really been closing that gap to the British boat and doing a fantastic upwind and really trusting in their boat speed in these conditions.
Belgium following Great Britain up towards the top mark. Top left of picture, that's the white mark that they're about to go around for the last time in this race. Canada further over to the right-hand side.
It looks like it's also more pressure coming down on that top mark, so it will be a little bit of a pressured maneuver, tacking and then almost straight into a barroway, but it will be easy for these girls.
Freya Black and Saskia Tidy only squeaked into the final 10 in 10th place yesterday, and Canada was 9th in, and both teams only just managed to get into the top 10, but both Great Britain and Canada having really good races and justifying their places in the top 10 of this finals racing.
Yeah, we also have to see the Canadian here fighting a little bit with Denmark just to be able to make this ley line and not hit the top mark.
Canada getting around, Denmark getting down the inside.
And now it's a crew battle. Who is going to get the kite up fastest? And it looks like it's Antonia getting the kite up a bit faster than Christina.
Yes, a bit of too much of a lean on the Danish boat. And the Canadians take advantage. And that's first blood to the Lewin-Lafrance sisters in this particular battle. And now they're both up and running really nicely. And Denmark still has the inside line, so still dictating when Canada will be able to jibe. Around goes Spain and France. So France has done really well closing the gap after an awful start. And there was a bit of an hourglass twist in the Spanish kite, and that just lets France 63 off the hook. But now the Spanish get up to speed.
It actually looks like Spanish was losing a bit of track on the second upwind and losing a little distance and positions. It's many boats in front of them now, and I think we saw them further up earlier in the race.
Yes, yeah. Spain have rather slipped in this race, but I'm not sure that's going to matter. I think that they are still looking pretty secure for the gold right now. Spain managing to get over the front of the French. The French decide to jibe. And you can just see the boats on port jibe. There's not too much ley line left. The Spanish surely have to jibe fairly soon.
Yeah, just before we switched picture, we just saw this finish line further down.
The Spanish overcooked the ley line the last time round, but they got away with it. They seem like it doesn't bother them to push the edges, but they push the edges again. You can see the boat leaning over, and they've given themselves a lot of hard work to get back down towards the finish. But they're going to be coming in with a lot of pace, that's for sure. Spanish hard charging down towards the bottom of the course. Here's the battle for the finish. Great Britain still in the lead, but only just because Canada are pushing them really hard. But Freya Black and Saskia Tidy do take the win, just ahead of Canada. In turn, just ahead of Denmark and Poland, fast closing in fourth place. Really close between the front four. Belgium will be next to come across. Coming across now, followed by Norway. And Spanish still to cross the line. Here come the Spanish now. So it's not been a great race for Spain, but it might still be enough to get the gold medal. Not a great approach across the finish either for Paula Barcelo and Maria Cantero. But I'm just waiting for confirmation. I think they might already have done enough for the gold medal. We're going to find out very soon.
It actually looks here like they came last in this race, which it's really going to put pressure on them for the next race and making the points even more close.
So you don't believe they've got the gold medal yet?
No, I don't think so. I still need a little bit of calculation, and I will be all on it.
Yeah, so I think now it might be the Germans, Germany 55, Marla Bergman and Hannah Veal, who are up into second. And so there isn't enough gap for Paula Barcelo and Maria Cantero to start celebrating yet. They didn't manage to get a decent score out of that. I don't really know where it went so badly wrong for them, but the Spanish were very close to securing the gold in that race, but it hasn't been enough yet. And behind them, there is a very tight battle, and it is so close on points by pretty much all the other teams. So any of the other teams could still get the silver medal, and some of them can still get the gold.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm pretty secure in my calculation right now, and it looks like Spain is having only 4 points lead over the Belgium, so it's definitely all still to play for, and tightly followed with 6 points still to the gold medal is for Norway 11, Pia and Nora.
Okay, there's our confirmation of that particular race. Freya Black and Saskia Tidy winning the race only just ahead of the fast closing Lewin LaFrance sisters, and then the Danes Jenna Seaton and Anderson getting third across the line ahead of Poland's Milzaka and Jankowiak. And right at the bottom, Paula Barcelo and Maria Cantero. Fantastic start off the pin end of the line, but in the end didn't amount to anything. And incredible really that the French, after having to go back and restart, were among those who managed to get ahead of the Spanish. So again, we see confirmation that anything can happen in this racing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the Spanish just ended up taking the wrong gate mark, the downwind gate, after that right pressure we saw with the early jibes, gaining on that first downwind and then ending up a little out of sync on the second upwind.
There's the replay and the start, and you see the French already turning downwind and jibing round and restarting, so it doesn't take them long to do it. So have they broken the line? I wonder if I think that's the only, yeah, they did. So they were just marginally over, slightly too soon.
And that also shows us, it didn't look like it was much, but also for the rest of the fleet, how much they were pushing that start line.
Yeah, yeah. Denmark 41 tacking onto starboard out on the right-hand side. Spain with a really good start, but the rest of the fleet, the Canadians and the Belgians, able to climb up inside. Even so, later on, we'll see that Spain still managed to come in from the left pretty well.
Yeah, look at this first top mark. It's just a really tight battle of who is going to come around first. And we had to see Belgium cross in between all the boats and Denmark doing a very slow barroway here and going straight into the jibe set that actually brought them up to third place.
Yeah, yeah, still so close, the battle at this stage. Great Britain being threatened on a number of occasions.
And just squeezing into that top 10 final and showing us today that they definitely belonged.
Yeah, absolutely. Spain 76 doing a difficult drop and rounding at the leeward mark. Nice synchronized tack there by the British.
Very good move here from the Canadians. They came into this top mark very slow and just took out the turn a bit extra, making Denmark go down straight away and keep building a bit of speed in the barroway to really really coming down and be able to hoist faster than the Danish boat.
And meanwhile, just it all falling apart for Spain towards the end of that race. And they'll be wondering what exactly they did wrong. I didn't see that the Spanish did anything badly wrong, but somehow managed to fall back to 10th place. Well done to Freya Black and Saskia Tidy winning that race ahead of the Lewin-Lafrance sisters.
Yeah, and we see the race committee just preparing for the next race that will come up shortly.
And I understand we might get an interview with our race winners from just now, Freya Black and Saskia Tidy.
Freya and Saska winning the first race of the finals. You came in 10th place with nothing to lose and you're trying to win it all. How was that race for you girls?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, we're just trying to do our own thing out here today. The breeze has picked up and it's quite fun bouncing around the course. So yeah, we've got another race ahead and we're just going to try and lock it in and do our best.
You girls seem to like the strong winds. Is it working in your favor?
Yeah, I think we like it, but we also don't really have a favourite condition. So yeah, we're just out here just trying to enjoy it and bounce around the course and chip off a few places.
I think if you do well in the next race, you could still get a medal. Is that the goal? Is that what you're thinking about?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's exactly what we want, and it's just tight points for everyone, so it's anyone's race. So yeah.
Orange flag about to
go.
go.
All right, good luck, girls.
So Black and Tidy still holding out for a medal, and such are the points. Perhaps it's possible. Rebecca, who do you think realistically still has a shot at a medal? How many different teams would you think?
Oh, we definitely have a few. I mean, we only just see with the gold medal. We have, I would say, we have the Belgians, Isora and Anouk, only 4 points away, and followed by Pia and Nora, the Norwegian boat, with 6 points to the gold medal. And anything can happen. We saw, maybe for the first time, actually, the Spanish Paula and Maria being in the back of the fleet on the final day when it matters the most. So it's definitely open for everyone.
Any thoughts about what they did wrong and what they might have done differently in that race?
I think they just got a little stressed there in the second lap after the gate, taking the downwind gate and then tacking and seeing the other boats coming across, probably tacking back. And
do you think they panicked a bit there and they should have kept the tacks down a little bit?
Yeah, I think now the breeze been picking up. There is definitely shifts, but as we know in skiff sailing, the tacks are really costly. And for the ones that the British, for example, that just kept it a bit more simple and just focusing on the boat speed, that's always going to be a boat that's winning.
Yeah. Well, they got such a good start as well, but the problem with coming off the pin end is that you can end up being dictated to by the other boats and can't do anything until they tack. And And that's what happened to the Spanish. And the way they shot out at the start, I thought they were going to be able to tack and cross, but it didn't last for them. So I'm being told by our outside sources that 8 teams could still win gold. So that is quite an incredible stat, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely. Then everything have to play for them, but mathematically it's still possible, and that's what's so exciting for this last race. And I mean, we're talking a lot about the gold, but I'm pretty sure that anyone winning a medal at the World Championship is going to be very happy.
Yeah.
Especially we see what I think is a little bit interesting for this now. If we calculate the Spanish away, that is a bit more experience in winning a lot of medals. We have the Belgians, the Norwegians, the Germans, the French and the Danish. We have plenty of boats that we don't so often see on the podium. Actually, it's a few podium boats missing here in the top 10 right now. So I'm pretty sure everyone would be super happy to get away with it.
That's true. There's bound to be some first-time medalists here, aren't there? The LeFrance sisters got the bronze medal last year.
And they are having 9 points up to the golds. I mean, it's definitely not over, and it's less points, of course, to the bronze.
Yeah. So there's going to be some really excited sailors out there. They've got one more race to go. And we've got the 49erFX flag up at the back of the committee boat. The British just checking out the line. With the Vaqueros system, that doesn't change what you do with getting transits, i.e. sighting along the line and looking at the piece of land beyond the line and things like that. It's probably just as important as ever, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So with the Vaqueros, you can have different settings, but what I know that we only have now on for the girls and the boys is we have the time, and we will get the green or red light for after the start.
There's a picture of our current leaders, and there are the total points. Total points on the right-hand side confirm what Rebecca was saying, that it's just a 4-point gap between Spain in first and the Belgians in second, and then look how close the points are after that. It's only 6 points separating second and 10th place. So every one of these 10 teams has a shot at the medal, and any of the top 8 could still win the gold medal.
Yeah, this just proves that it will be quite some calculation after that finish line, and we're all going to be very excited of who the medals are actually going to go to.
It's going to be a mathematical challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to sit here and really put our heads together and try and sort it out as quick as possible, because we all just want to know who is the medal's going to go to in the end.
I know that Freya Black and Saskia Tidy said they don't have a favourite condition. Is that something that sailors have to tell themselves, or are there teams that genuinely believe that they would happily welcome any condition equally?
Yeah, I think for them, they kind of been pointed out as the strong wind and full trapezing fast, and kind of want to get rid of. I know that they've been working a lot on the light wind skills, and they are definitely getting better. And to get rid of that a rumor that you're a little bit slower in the light, it takes a lot of time. And I know that Vilma and I put a lot of work as well in the light wind, and we felt that we were really good in the light wind in the end, but no one would agree, I think. So it is hard to get away from that corner when you've proven that you're fast in some specific conditions.
Yes, maybe it was because he was so fast in the stronger winds that people were never really prepared to credit you with speed in the lighter winds. Is that the thing? You can be so strong in one thing that people say, oh, well, they're not that good in the light, but it's only because you might have been as good as everyone else, but you just had that super strength in the breeze.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what Freya was trying to say to all of us is don't count us away when it's getting lighter, because we're good then as well.
Yeah, well, good psychology on her part, both for her sake and for everybody else in the fleet. You don't want to give away show any chink in your armour. We got 1 minute to go, just over 1 minute, and they are all lined up on starboard right now. We're seeing really early lineups today in the 49erFX fleet.
Yeah, they're all just very, very excited to get this final race. This is actually the final race of this World Championship, so I mean, it's a bit of extra excitement for us as well.
Belgium 18 currently in the silver medal position, and they're in their typical position going for the pin end start, although as I say that, they're just doing a little flip onto tack, but that is just to close the gap on Denmark 41, make life a little bit more uncomfortable. Denmark 41 moving a bit further forwards, but Belgium keen to protect that position at the far end of the line. Germany 22 with a bit of work to do, 24 seconds to go, and no clear run into the start for Germany 22. They're going to have to wait for Poland to make a move.
Yeah, and it just looks like the Canadians is getting a last spot there. They were waiting for a long time before the gap would open up.
Now the trigger pull will come very shortly because it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Is it going to be a clear start? Is anyone going to have to go back? At the moment, it looks like a great start for Norway at this end of the line and a really good start for Canada and Belgium at the other end of the line, which we're looking at now. And Spain in the second row. Spain's going to have to do an early tack out of here. Not great by Spain.
No, and Spain is also in the struggle that the Germany 55, Hanna and Marla, was also doing, if we can say, a little worse start. So they are actually blocked. I wouldn't be surprised if the Spanish boat will be tacking soon, or if they think they have enough space to be breathing here. We see them going for the tack just after the German and the Polish to see if they can get a bit more space and free air on this course.
So the Spanish giving themselves a lot to do, but having said that, we've seen so many people come back from the dead in these races across the last 6 days of competition on the incredibly tricky Bay of Quiberon. So the Spanish, no need to panic yet. There's plenty of time yet. Even though this race is so short, it's barely 15 minutes long. But you'd still rather have got a start like Norway. I really like where Norway are at the moment.
Yeah, they are just very comfortable there. They have control over the both sides, and they can tack and do whatever they want, but still having control of this bunch to the right of our screen. And it looks like they can just continue and lean back and sail quick. They're also coming into this race, they were also in third position. I don't know if they know about it.
I'm sure they do. Surely they do.
Yeah, surely they do, and they know what this race is all about.
Yeah, and it's oh so close right now between these top 10 teams. Here are the leaders. They came in with a healthy lead at the start of the day. A lot of that lead has already been eroded for the first race, and the Spanish haven't done themselves any favours with a second row start, but they look really nice in this shot at the moment, fully stretched, going fast in clear air, and we know that they're fast in a straight line.
Yeah, it is interesting here on the tracker. It actually looked like the right-hand boats were heading a little bit now, so it seems like the shift is going a bit to the right, which really makes this right-hand side favorable right now.
So Spain already ahead of the Danish boat that has to duck behind them. And Spain forced to go out to the right-hand side, and as Rebecca says, maybe that's done them a little bit of a favour, even though it wasn't their first choice.
Yeah, the Polish boat now, it's a completely different game. We wanted to be the Norwegian, and now I would say the Polish probably look a bit comfortable as well. But it is very, very tight, and we see here the German 22 is actually going behind the Polish boat, and it looks like the wind is going back left, looking at the tracking. So now we're back on the left-hand side being the favorite, and it just shows us how much this course is shifting back and forth.
Germany 22, one of the furthest boats on the right-hand side. They've tacked back towards the centre of the course, and to windward of them, Denmark 41, Jenna Seaton, mother of a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old who somehow finds time to campaign a 49er at the highest level, having won the bronze medal in the 49erFX at Rio 2016 a decade ago. Here's Spain on the right-hand side, a long way back, and so not looking as good as I thought they did. I thought Spain had really got their way back into this quite quickly, but it's not proving to be the case. So this is looking a bit desperate for the Spanish right now.
Yeah, this is definitely not how they wanted to start this final race, but we also know that if there's any team being good at bouncing back, it's definitely Spain. And by the looks of it now, maybe they should have committed a bit more to the side. It seems like they are being a little bounced in the middle.
So Spain maybe playing it too safe up the middle, should have gone out to the edges a bit more. That's very counter what a coach would normally say. They normally say about hedging your bets up the middle, but after the start they had, maybe they needed to take more risks. Bands of breeze across the race course. There's the mark they're aiming for. And Denmark 41. Jenna Seaton at the back of the boat working hard.
And it seems like it's a tough battle here between Denmark and Norway to get to that lane. They are now on the final lay line, on the port lay line, going to that top mark. But it's a big bunch coming as well from the right-hand side, so it will be a tight rounding at this first top mark.
Let's see how Denmark and Norway come out against the rest. Here's the attack from the far side. France coming in from the right-hand side of the racecourse, left of our screen. Norway just squeaking around in front, but are they going to stay in front? They're going pretty slow, but they managed to get round there just ahead of Denmark, with France 63 going round in third. Oh, poor hoist by the Danish, immediately rolled by the French.
And I mean, what a great position for Norway right now. And seeing the Spanish all the way back in the fleet going into this race, the Norwegian young girls were only 6 points from the gold medal.
Wow. So I'm sure they won't be thinking about that right now. There won't be any victory speeches yet. They're thinking about how to get through that jibe. Which
or maybe that was just what they were doing, losing the main ship in the jibe. Oh, God. And nerves are all over the place.
And here are the Spanish. They've got to push hard. They've got to get something special out of this race at this stage. They're up and running. And we know they can go fast. They just haven't been able to find their way around this tricky racetrack, and that was not a great start. It didn't set them up for an easy race here. Norway, after fluffing their jibe a little bit, they're back up to full pace again. And they look like they've got good speed and good angle compared with the boat on the far side. I think that's the French on the far side.
Yeah, and the French had a little tougher first race, but they are still in the medal hunt. And they were also only 8 points from the gold medal going into this race. So they are also really in it to bounce back.
Points to leader on the right-hand side. Suggests that Spain still marginally holding the lead. Would you agree with that, Rebecca? Are they doing enough, Spain, to keep the lead?
I don't think so. But I mean, we shouldn't say too much, but I would think that wouldn't be enough for them being last in this race.
Very close call here. Collision course. Norway has the right of way. France is going to pass behind, so Norway holds on to the lead marginally, but France certainly pushing hard. And Manon Pere and Amélie Rieu, they were leading earlier on in the regatta, and they are right back in contention along with the Norwegians to get this gold medal. This is still so wide open. Double jibe for Norway as they decide to go round the left-hand mark. What's France going to choose? Looks like they're going to follow the Norwegians round. And they're going to give away a bit of distance here.
It looks like I must say, it looks like a little tense Norwegian boat. I mean, they're doing a great job, but it's ending up being quite a few jibes. And we saw Pia as well getting stuck in the foot strap, just crossing the boat. I'm pretty sure they're feeling the nerves right now, knowing that they're leading this race.
Some world title jitters going on aboard the Norwegian boat. Spanish still pushing hard. Not the best jibe I've seen from the Spanish. I wonder if they've jibed a little bit too soon. I don't think they've judged the best. No, their lay line's okay, actually. They're okay, but that was a slow jibe by their standards. Still a lot to do for Paolo Barcelo. Oof, just about stopping that kite from dragging in the water. Barcelo straight out on the trapeze. Maria Cantero joining her. Last bit of jib needs to come in, and then they can get moving.
Yeah, and I wish them a get a bit more relaxed feeling, even though it can't be easy on this race course, to see if they can catch up a few boats on this upwind. But a boat that looks really fast is this Norwegian boat now that they're up and running. It just looks very stable and a very well-balanced boat.
I think the French look pretty nice here as well.
Yes, I'm a little surprised. We have the to the left of our screen that we can't see right now is the Norwegian boat that is still sailing on starboard, when we have the rest of the fleet sailing on port.
Right. That is surprising. So Norway allowing a bit of lateral separation to develop. They've still got the lead, but if the breeze shifts to the right, then that would put the Norwegians in trouble.
Yeah, they created really a big space to the rest of the fleet, but they must be very confident. We see the top mark there, very small white, and we see some good pressure coming down, so I think they feel very comfortable in the position where they are.
Looking really smooth on board the Norwegian boat right now. Rebecca, how well do you know these girls?
Yeah, we were training together with them, and the older generation, Helene and Marie never liked that we called them old, but we had a great training group and we had so much fun, and it's just so great pictures right now. I'm pretty sure they don't fully agree. It could be a little bit of a distraction, but maybe that's also what they need.
Well, a bit of distraction of having the drone flying in front of them, you mean? Or
yeah, I think. But it looks like, I wasn't sure, we weren't really getting any smiles. I think they are really, really focused in bringing this home.
Well, it's really close. At the moment, Norway do hold the marginal advantage over Spain. And they are quite well ahead of the French passing behind the Norwegians. So the French were really pushing Norway hard, but going out to the left and holding their nerve out on the left-hand side seems to have worked for Norway, because now you can see just out of picture, just going out of picture on the left, that is the Norwegians, who are now tapped back onto starboard, but have put some distance between themselves and the French, who are really nipping at their heels at the bottom of the course.
Yeah, it looked like that separation to the right-hand side maybe could have cost them still leading this race. It will be interesting to see what's happening now at the top, but Poland seems very strong up there. We just saw them in the top of our screen, but we know that the top, just before we come to this top mark, it's a lot of things happening, and it's all about that last shift.
Norway doing another tack. Quite a few tacks going on here. Wonder how much ley line that they've got left. 14th at last year's Worlds, 8th at the 2023 Worlds. So this is a big step up for the Norwegians.
Yeah, it looks like it will be a tack better way for the Norwegians. They just eased off all the kicker and Cunningham and the crew doing it again there just to be able to get the boat down, doing a final hoist of this World Championship.
Yes, this should be the final hoist, barring any kind of disaster. We are coming in to the end of this 49erFX World Championship. Poland going round in second. And the gaps have opened up. Where are the French? Surely the French come into view fairly soon.
Yeah, where is the French? I think the French is, yes, they're coming in. Are they going to be able to come in front, or do they have to go behind both Canada and Germany?
I don't understand how the French dropped so much compared with Norway. They were so close to each other not so long ago. Another one of these strange examples. It's almost like there's a Bermuda Triangle out there.
Yeah, and we see once again the Polish boat really like that right-hand side like they did on the upwind, and the Norwegians are playing the left a bit more.
Well, the Polish have a lot of ground to make up if they're going to overtake Norway, but we've seen it done before. The jibe set has proven to be a strong move on a number of occasions. Here comes Spain in from the right of your picture. They're not making ground through this fleet, and I think Spain is going to go round in last.
What a disaster for Spain.
That's just awful. And Belgium not having a great race either, because Belgium were very much in contention for this gold medal if things had gone better for them in this race.
Yeah, Belgium was actually only 4 points from the gold going into this race. So this really looks like Norway's been taking a grip of this final race. Maybe this could be the final jibe. Could be that they have one more jibe to go before the finish, just playing that lay line a bit safe, so they don't overstand.
Wow. What a conclusion to this World Championship. I didn't see this coming. I didn't have Norway down as possible gold medalists at the start of the day. I just thought the reigning world champions from Spain would be too strong. They had the advantage going into today. We know that Paula Barceló and Maria Quintero can rise to the occasion. They did that in Sardinia. They really pushed the limits in Sardinia to win that gold medal. But it's going to be, increasingly it looks like it's going to be the Norwegians, Pia Dahl Andersen and Nora Edlund, winning this race. Is it going to be enough to win the regatta overall? I'm not sure if we can call that the moment that they cross the finish line, because so much depends on what happens behind them. Is there one last opportunity for Spain?
Yeah, Spain is Norway is definitely playing it safe here. We see they jibe just below the Polish boat to secure that nothing more can happen, and they really did everything they can in this last race to be taking the win, and it's all up for Spain to see what's going to happen in the end.
And Spain, if we're to believe the leaderboard on the left-hand side, has moved up 2 places. It was the Spanish boat was in last. It's now moved up 2 places. Things are really, really close.
And I think Spain have to move up 1 more boat to be able to secure or take the gold.
Pia Dahl Andersen, Nora Edlund, you are about to win the final race of the World Championships. Is it going to be enough for you to win the world title? We don't yet know, but congratulations to Norway doing everything they can to secure the gold medal. But now they have to look back upwind, look over their shoulder and see where are those other teams. Where is Spain? That is the critical boat. Poland 14 comes across in second. Canada comes across in third.
And now it's all what's happening behind.
It's a matter of where is Spain? Have they made any more ground in towards the rest of the fleet? Across comes, here's Spain.
Oh, we want to see the finish.
Are they going to take any of these boats at the finish? They might do. It's still so close. Spain has got to get across ahead of some of these boats. Is it going to manage it? It's so close. This is going to be photo finish stuff. Spain just charging down the inside. Has it got ahead of the other boats? Spain, we see, has finished 7th. Don't know if that is for sure. This is so close. It's pretty much neck and neck between Spain. There's no celebrations on that Spanish boat. I wonder if there are any celebrations yet on the Norwegian boat. Is it going to be the reigning world champions securing another title? Is it going to be the Norwegians? That looks like celebration for Norway, but is it celebration because they've won gold or because they won a medal? It's so close. I wish we could give you the absolute certainty that Norway have won the top spot. We don't yet know that.
Yeah, so I've been doing some quick math. I definitely think they're celebrating for a medal. I wouldn't say that they've been winning yet. What I can say from my calculations right now, it is very, very, very tight.
When they shake their fists with that much certainty, what does it mean? Does it mean that they've got the gold medal?
I mean, it would definitely, I think actually that they just, I don't want to say it, certainly sure, but I actually think they just took the gold with the same points as the Spanish, but because they won the last race, they were taking the gold. It's not for sure. I can't say it yet, but that's how my math has been working this out.
Right. Well, it could come down to the fact that they won the final race, and it could be who beat who in the very last race.
If we go a little further down, I think we actually have a little bit of the same situation when it comes to the bronze. We have not really sure, but it's definitely even tighter with the bronze as well.
How could it be any tighter?
And I mean, this final and this standing is just too much.
So that's the outcome of the race. This much we do know is that Anderson and Edlund won the race. Is it going to be enough to secure the gold? Melzaka and Jankowiak from Poland were second across the line. Lewin Lafrance sisters were third. Canada third in the race. Are they third? Have they got another bronze to go with the bronze that they got in Sardinia last year? We're still waiting for the final outcome of what has happened and who has got. All the attention seems to be on the Norwegians. So we have.
We also get messages here that they actually don't know. They are just celebrating, being too excited what we're going to give them. And we're all waiting on that race committee boat giving us the final results.
The momentum seems to be with Norway, with Anderson and Edlund. And there's not such a crowd around the Spanish boat. It's much quieter around the Spanish boat. But we just don't want to call anything until we know absolutely for sure. Have you ever had this where you didn't know whether you'd won or not?
Actually, at the Olympic Games, we had a little bit like this.
Oh,
I
this
mean,
is
we didn't win, but in the end, it was 1 point from us and the Dutch for sailing the wrong course. We just celebrated that we won the final race, and what a way to finish a 3-year-long campaign. And
I think that is a gold, isn't it?
And I think they're still just celebrating with the friends that they have done an amazing week, and they definitely are having a medal secured. Yeah, the Spanish are just holding the breath, waiting to know what's happening right now.
And is that the Spanish we're looking at there?
Yeah, that's the Spanish. They're just waiting. Not as exciting as the Norwegian boat, but let's see how the calculation is going on that committee boat.
Spain taking it easy. For once, the Spanish, I think, are not saying that much. Those girls have normally got a lot to say, but they are waiting, just like the rest of us. What a finish we've had to this. I guess this is what we want from these formats, is we want to see final day jeopardy, because with the old system, Spain had sailed so well that they would have confirmed the gold medal with a day to spare, but it's kept all the drama open until the final day.
And it would be very fun to see go back to the Norwegian boat and just see how they were waiting for the results.
So the Belgians so often going for the pin end, and that's what we see here. And really competitive out of that start. The Spanish forced to tack away behind the fleet after a poor start, and that's where things started to go wrong for the Spanish. They never really recovered from that. It looked like they had their moment to escape towards the top of the windward leg, but it didn't ever quite work out like that.
Yeah, and we just see how everyone is coming together, trying to calculate the points, and the Norwegian boat, and you can see actually the boyfriend of Pia not being patient enough to start celebrating. And I think we just got it confirmed.
So, Norway, congratulations. You have won the gold medal. So we have new world champions, Pia Dahl Andersen and Nora Edlund. It's been a long few minutes, the longest minutes of their lives. They were celebrating anyway because they know that they've sailed well this week. They won the final race of the day. But you are the new world champions, Norway, Pia Dahl Andersen, Nora Edlund. And so Paula Barcelo and Maria Cantero, the outgoing world champions, will get the silver medal.
Water
And
race.
in third place, it is Poland who get the bronze medal, just ahead of the outgoing bronze medalists, the Lewin-Lafrance sisters. So congratulations, Poland, getting the bronze medal. And we have an interview lined up on the water. Off you go, Alexia.
49erFX World Champions. I mean, it was a little bit tight. I won all the boats. So how are you feeling right now? It must be super exciting.
I don't think we believe it yet. It's crazy. It's insane. We were really happy with second and third, and to be get the gold medal is just amazing.
What position did you come in today?
We were fifth coming in today, but it was really close on points. But it was also close, like up, but also down. So we were just focusing on ourselves and just sail our own race. Especially when the first race didn't go so well, but we managed to catch up some boys. We really knew that the last days we really had to be on it from the start, which we managed. Yeah, we had a really good start, and then we just tried to keep calm. Yeah, but we didn't manage. No. We were so happy.
Absolutely, you deserve it. I mean, last year you were pretty close also to winning, and then you got sick, but you were leading at the World Championship last year, so I think it's safe to say this is your comeback.
Yes, it is. Finally, thank you.
Today is Norway's National Day,
Yeah!
so even bigger.
Happy Norway Day! Gratulerer med dagen!
Amazing, girls. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sweet.
Happy Norway Day to you, Pia Dahl Andersen and Nora Edlund. What a day to win. And we've got brand new world champions. And Rebecca, it couldn't have been more close. Just tell us, how close were those points and how did the Norwegians end up winning ahead of Spain?
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting all emotional. I see how much it means for the girls. They've been having some tough regattas and they are working a lot and really, really hard. And there was some shaky legs, but now they are finally world champions and celebrate they should. But with the points, this was a tough one. And I think we were pretty sure, but we couldn't tell really before we had it confirmation from everyone else, because these points were the tightest we've ever seen. So we have the girls, the Norwegian boat were winning, but with the same point as the Spanish, but because they won the last race, they were taking it over, and we actually had the same scenario for the bronze medal for the Polish, Alexandra Melchaka and Sandra Jankowiak, having the same points as the Canadian, Georgia Levin-France and Antonia Levin-France. But because Poland were just in front of the Canadian boat over that finish line, they claimed third.
Yeah, well done to Poland. Alexandra Melchaka, Sandra Jankowiak coming into the day in 8th place, and the Canadian sisters came in 9th place. So a really good climb up the board for them as well. And I know the Lewin-Lafrances will be disappointed to so narrowly miss out on another bronze medal such as they got in 2025. But even so, a really good recovery by Canada. Not quite good enough for the podium. But wow, what a way to finish.
And I mean, with this new point system, that just shows the regatta is really never over. I was talking to the Canadian sisters after the qualifying days, and they were very disappointing being far behind just qualifying, and see them now battling for the medals.
And the France 63, who had been so much in contention, Manon Perrin, Amélie Rieu, they started the day in second. There were times when we thought maybe they would get the gold medal today. They ended up finishing in 6th place, and that's how close everything was today. So no disgrace for them. The points were so close, and in the end, just 10 points between the winners, the Norwegians, and the last place boat, the 10th place Jenna May Seaton and Christina Anderson. So it really goes to show that anybody, if they'd have had a good day on the last day, could have won that gold medal. So what a perfect scenario.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we have the Spanish team on our screen right now, and I'm just so impressed by this team. I mean, Paula just felt like yesterday she was stepping over from crewing for such a long time, now helping. They won the Worlds last year, second at this Worlds. What an achievement.
So what a big day we've seen, and we've seen New Zealand win the 49er world title. We've seen Italy win the Nacra 17 world title, and we've seen Norway win the 49erFX world title. And all of these winners of world titles today are first-time winners. What does that tell us? Is it time for the new generation to make their mark?
It seems like it. It seems like the oldest have to make space for the young ones coming up.
Well, let's have a look back at the highlights of this amazing day. 3 great championships decided. And there is the start of the 49er race. The Dutch, Bart Lambrechts and Floris van der Werken. Poland 19 tacking into windward of the Dutch there. The Australians going, oh, that's New Zealand in the early stages of this race. And New Zealand already leading going into the day and then winning this race. Rebecca, at this stage, we thought, well, the gold medal had definitely gone towards New Zealand, but it wasn't as straightforward as that, was it?
No, they also made it very interesting for us. It's been some intense races. And they really played it cool in the end and just made it. But it was even more people that wanted to be going into it, and it was some new medals coming for us today.
And at times, Keanu Pretner and Jakob Flackberger, Austria 28, looked like they might take the gold medal. This gold medal had yet to be decided. You look at the top right of picture, New Zealand 94, way back in the picture. And at that point, I thought New Zealand were done, but they came back and they won. And then we move on to the Nacras, and it was all down to Italy to do what it needed to do. Italy up towards the top of your picture. And they went back and restarted along with the 2 Swedes, which put the Italians on the back foot, and then it looked for a while like Ugolini and Jubilee might not win that much awaited world title. They've been campaigning together for 12 years. These are the French that nearly took that gold medal away from Italy. This is Italy, the overhead shot of Ugolini and Jubilee.
And what a feeling for this French boat to be medaling here, coming away with that silver medal on home waters.
Yeah, huge celebrations by the French. And it was almost as if they had won the gold medal. This is one of the Dutch teams going around. They had a really good day. Jana Bauer and Jorian Hin. And we had all the mode changes for the Nacra 17. We had the low riding that we're seeing now, and we had the full foiling as the Dutch fly down towards the bottom of the course. Here are the French.
Yeah, and just remembering this races wasn't long ago when there was pitchy and patchy, and breeze just picked up for that second race, and that's what we got to see on the FX later in the day, that the breeze was a bit more up and we could really see some fast sailing.
Radical start by Sweden 14 here. It goes badly wrong for them. Good start by France down this end of the line, and on the far side we're keeping an eye on Italy to see if Italy can do enough to hang in there and win the gold medal. There's a real battle between France and Great Britain for the silver and bronze medal, and at times Argentina must have thought maybe they could get to the podium.
Yeah, and how many changes did we have in the Nacra? It was foiling, no foiling, and it was a really tight battle between the British boat for silver and the French boat for silver, and in the end it was the French winning that battle.
Yes, John Gibson and Anna Burnett, last year's winners of the world title, just not quite doing enough to get ahead of the French, so the British get the bronze medal. Australia also does well today. Archie Gargett and Sarah Hoffman getting up to 4th overall.
But it was somewhere there that we saw the British ending up just outside that pressure, even though it looked so good. And
there's the moment of celebration for the Italians. The long-awaited world title that they fought so hard for. They narrowly missed out last year, but they got it all right here in the north of France. Congratulations to Gigi and Maria, continuing that long line of success in the Nacra 17 for Italy. And here is the view from back ashore. And boats coming back ashore after the 49erFX race. And the world title won by Pia Dahl Anderson and Nora Edlund. And Rebecca, you wanted to say more about the Polish, because we maybe haven't said enough about them.
No, I think someone that's been a little bit under our radar this week is actually the Polish girls. They went into this final day, if I have the old results here enough, in 7th. Or even in 8th.
8th place.
So, I mean, and they are coming away with a bronze medal today, and isn't that incredible?
Yeah, yeah. So well sailed by Melzaka and Jankowiak, and there is confirmation. Norway and Spain finishing on equal points, but because they win the final race, Anderson and Edlund win the gold medal for Norway. Spain gets the silver. Melzaka and Jankowiak get the bronze medal for Poland, just ahead of Canada, who are also on equal points. And just look down the rest of the list. It's only 56 points for the 10th place boat. It could have gone so many different ways, and that was about as dramatic and as uncertain as you could possibly get. Seb Menzies and George Lee Rush, well, it looks pretty easy when you see that 6-point gap there, but it didn't feel like that at the time. The Austrians pushed them actually very close for the gold medal, but Austria gets the silver, and the Dutch, the 3-time world champions, finish on equal points, but just miss out on tiebreak to get the bronze medal. And here are our Nacra 17 standings. Our brand new world champions, Ugolini and Jubilee from Italy. The local heroes from Quiberon, Muniac and Retornes, getting the silver medal. And last year's world champions from Great Britain, Gibson and Burnett, getting the bronze. And well done to Archie Gargett and Sarah Hoffman from Australia, who got a first and a second in today's 2 races in the Nacra, and that lifts them up to 4th overall. So, Rebecca, it's been an absolute pleasure to commentate with you this week, to have someone of your caliber and a world champion and Olympic silver medalist. And yeah, mixed emotions for you not being out there racing. There must be times when you think, yeah, I wish I was out there still doing it, because you probably still could. But also, it's been pretty heart-stopping stuff, hasn't it?
Yeah, this week has been incredible. It's been so shifty, so much wind, so little wind, and yeah, it's just with mixed emotions, and I'm so happy for the Norwegian girls coming in here celebrating, even though they probably thought going into this event that they would win after a few days, and they've been really putting the performance together, and today when it mattered the most, they just did enough to come away with this medal. And I really feel like they've been winning this medal right now. We saw the Spanish earlier. It looks like they were still a little bit disappointed. I think they wanted more from today, but I think it's not about the silver medal. It's more about how they sailed the boat today, actually.
Yeah, well, what do you mean by that? That they didn't actually sail it well enough today, or they just didn't execute?
I mean, I'm not sure what happened, but we saw them back in the fleet, both of the races, coming 10th in the first race and now 7th in the second. And we know that they are normally sailing so much better than that. And even though we all are in it for medals, we know that it's about how you're actually sailing that matters the most.
And here come some of the other girls to celebrate with the new world champions in the 49er FX. And what an exciting day on Norway Day. It's National Day for all Norwegians, but wow, what a day to remember for Pia Dahl Andersen and Nora Edlund. So winners of the world title for New Zealand in the 49er, Italy take the world title in the Nacra 17, and Norway in the 49er FX. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage today. Remember, there is racing going on throughout the year. You can keep up with all of that at 49er.org. The best way to keep in touch is sign up to our newsletter at 49er.org/subscribe. The YouTube channel will always have new things coming up there. You can watch back this live stream and tell your friends about it. We've had 3 great days of live stream, which you can look back through anytime. And if you want to see more live stream in the future, then you can make a donation to 49er.org/gift. But from me, Andy Rice, and from my co-commentator, Rebecca Netzler, bye from me, bye from Rebecca.
Yeah, that has been an incredible week, and what a way to end.
Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Quiberon. And we will be back to you for our next major championship in 49er, 49er FX and Nacra 17 racing. But from Quiberon, we say goodbye.